Revival House Network.
And don't like the brags, I don't like the boast. They like hot butter on the breakfast toast. Watching flicks, talking chicks, I like to motorboat. Can Riverman make it, yo, a check? Nope. So look at all these movies I got. Commenting like, should we watch them or not? And I know they just be acting for cash, but I still got one question to ask. Like, why'd he do that, do that, do that? If that was me, I'd be like, screw that, screw that, screw that. I'm an alpha, I'd eat through that, through that, through that. So why'd he do that, do that, do that?
What's up, gang? BTM back, Revival House Network. Zach and myself, Aaron. We're here with a commentary, of course. Zach, tell everybody what we're doing this week.
We are doing the fucking classic. We had it was requested, the movie by John Hughes, fucking written before he made his classic Home Alone, but not made until after it was already released. Fucking Career Opportunities.
Yeah, and classic is it really? I just watched this for the first time, and I really think this is mid-tier John Hughes writing. Like, it's just
all of his writing is mid-tier.
Now, he's got some really good movies. He's got some movies that are sort of middle in the road like this.
He doesn't.
And then of course, he has Home Alone 3 that he wrote.
Yeah, I'm just fucking playing because, people love the John Hughes. We're going to watch it, though. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get it started. And this is actually not a very long movie. It's like 82 minutes, something like that. It's a real quick burn. It doesn't go by like slow or anything like that. It's just kind of a lot of meh. It's very formula to me, but we're going to go and get started in 3, 2, 1, play.
That was some countdown. 3, 2, 1, play. Like fucking like skip in between one and skip in between play. Everybody's out of sync. But we're seeing the original, like the old school Universal. It's not the original, but the one from like fucking Child's Play 2 where there's like 8 logos. You got to let you know that this is not your fucking grandma's Universal logo. But they're still lying about the flat fucking earth, as we all know, because that guy from fucking Deftones, he was saying that recently. You know, if the guy from Deftones knows it, then it's fucking true.
That's been making the rounds, man. He did an interview with somebody, and he just went all fucking anti-vax, flat earther on everybody.
As you do.
And you know what's funny is, why is it that when one of those people believes in one of those theories, they believe in all of them? Like, if you're a flat earther, you're also an anti-vaxxer, you're also a chemtrailer, you're all these.
It's part of a fucking brain rot. It really is.
Like, why can't
once you get in that fucking, like, that rabbit hole where you're just smelling your own farts and nobody's fucking questioning anything, you're just more likely to believe everything.
Yeah, but it's funny though. Like, there's got to be somebody out there that kind of plays with the flat earth theory, but doesn't necessarily believe in fucking chemtrails or whatever. But no, it's all or none. It really is. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, the joke, how do you know somebody's a vegan? They'll tell you about it, right? So those types of people, once you tap into something like a flat earther, they just unload. They just fucking go nuts and they unload everything on you. Like, and they just, you know what I mean? It's not just a little discourse on the flat earth. No, you learn you become Michael Bauer, and they just spill all this bullshit on you, and they won't shut up, and they become super tinfoil hat. In fact, I think that's the name of the podcast he was on, the Stephen Carpenter, like tinfoil something or other.
Tinfoil cock.
I guess.
Tinfoil condoms.
But anywho, set up the movie, Zach. We got this guy, Frank Whaley, who I know from Swimming with Sharks, and then he kind of just disappeared off the map.
Yeah, you're a fucking beta. You should know him from Little Monsters.
Look, he was in Pulp Fiction.
He played the character Boy, who was a monster who stretched human skin over his monster face.
Okay, that's true. And like I said, he was in Pulp Fiction, like a bit part, right?
Exactly.
And the guy that got killed, of fucking Big Kahuna Burger. But he kind of vanished after that. I mean, what does he do anymore?
Be fucking alpha.
I wonder what he's doing. I mean, he's probably done bit work here and there, but anyway.
He's hanging out in fucking Gymfornia with fucking Jennifer Connelly.
He hangs out in the park with little kids, which is creepy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that kind of weird and pervy? But yeah, I mean, it's the only people he can impress, because he's kind of I don't know what to do with my life. I'm kind of a loser. I graduated high school, and I can't hold down a basic job.
Fucking the jobs can't hold him down. It's more like it. Fucking, he's too fucking, he fucking just slips right through all this bullshit. He doesn't fucking adhere to our fucking ideas of getting a job and all that bullshit. He lives outside the box.
I like they're going through the cast scroll right now, and I do like William Forsythe's very, very brief character because I don't know, it just reminds you of everybody you've ever worked with at a job like this. That, you know, there's always that one guy that's sort of a lifer and he takes his job super seriously, but he's just a fucking like stock guy at a Kmart or a Target or something.
Amazing.
You know what I'm talking about. There's always that guy. Like, this is your livelihood. I am God.
Fucking, so yeah, he's just hanging out, just having fun. His fucking dad's telling him to get a job and all this fucking beta shit. His fucking beta ass fathers. Fucking, I hate them. I hate fathers. I hate fucking beta fathers. Some fathers, I assume, are pretty good. But yeah, he's just fucking telling him like, oh yeah, you can't live in my house without paying bills. What a beta bitch.
Hey.
Fucking just shut your fucking mouth and do what you've been doing your whole fucking life, you little bitch.
But that's a good question, though. So how old were you when you got your first job? What was that very first job? And was that something your dad, was that his idea? Like, you should get a job, Zach. It'll put hair in your chest and teach you about responsibility.
No.
Or did you come home and say, hey, Mom, Dad, can I work?
Yeah, I got a job at where my mom was working. And they didn't make me leave. They didn't make me help pay bills. It's pretty fucking awesome, really.
Yeah, but you were a kid. This guy's an adult now.
Exactly. He's still a kid. Fucking, we're all kids at heart. If you don't fucking, as soon as you move out, you aren't a kid anymore. So as long as you never move out, you're still a kid. That's how it works.
Okay. I have an aunt that never moved out. She's like 50.
Donk.
Yeah.
She probably saved a lot of money, didn't she?
You would think. You would think, but no.
Well, she's a beta.
So
here we're seeing fucking Jennifer Carpenter.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Carlin.
Exactly.
No, Carbuncle. No, Jennifer Connelly. So, you know what? She's never been my type, but she's fucking hot in this movie. But you know what? And she's
not the type for the betas.
Yeah. I don't know. She's
a master beta.
She's just, maybe she got a little too skinny because she's not quite super skinny, real skinny in this movie. I don't know what it is, but I like her in this movie. But she's a highlight. But it really doesn't help. Like, her character's still not interesting. I don't think many of these characters are that interesting. It's your typical John Hughes fare. It's coming of age, self-discovery, all that fucking bullshit, moment in time of your life. And obviously we're dealing with this guy. We've already done Breakfast Club. We've done Breakfast Club. We've done Pretty in Pink. We've done all these movies about high school. And this might be his first movie where he's kind of diving into what happens after high school.
Nothing.
And
nothing happens.
Yeah, and that's exactly. We got Frank Whaley. We got this guy, and his whole thing is, I think he's just that standard dude where he's in that rut. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. He's got all these expectations on him, and he hasn't had any time to sort of.
The thing is, though, if you came out of high school knowing what you wanted to be and what you want to do with your life, you are a fucking you have no.
You've already planted your coffin.
You have no imagination.
Yeah, you're kind of already like planning your own funeral, and you got it all mapped out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's kind of rare. I think it's kind of the point, maybe. And then Jennifer Connelly's character, it's kind of cliche. She's like, yeah, but. It's I wish I had what you had, man. My dad's all up my ass all the time. I'm rich and
Yeah, her dad is like beating her and shit, and they barely touch on it.
I don't even know. I didn't really get it.
Her dad's beating her.
What's
there was
that?
a bunch more of that stuff, and they ended up cutting it out because they said it was too dark.
You're cutting in and out, my friend.
Well, that's your fault. That's your fucking mic. Fix it, bitch.
It's not my mic. It's you. But what did you say? They barely touch on something?
They barely even touch on the fact that she's getting beat by her dad and shit.
Yeah, she said one little line, right? Basically, where she was conflicted. She's afraid to be alone. But then he does something like what? Knocks her over or something. She says something somewhat vague, not super on the nose, right?
Amazing. Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe he was also fucking getting that pussy too, because she like made out with her friend, her work colleague, right in front of him, and he was all jealous. He's like, "You ever pull that shit again? I'm gonna fuck your ass. I'm gonna make it bleed."
I don't think he was jealous. I think he was pissed off.
I think that's what he said.
You just made me look bad in front of them. But I would be jealous. Yeah, you just dropped out of the call.
Hey, so
fucking beta.
You dropped out of the call. It was you. It was you.
No, you just completely went out of the call.
No, you did too. It went boop, you dropped off.
Don't you fucking lie to them. Don't fucking try to embarrass me in front of my friends, Aaron. It's your fault. It's always your fault. It's your fucking connection.
My connection is full blown, dude. I've got like a great connection right now. It's not me. I think it's you.
Why are you fucking cutting out then?
You're cutting out, dude.
No, I'm not. Aaron, stop lying to me.
Yes, you are.
Fucking beta. Listen to him.
No,
Listen.
That first time when I cut out, that's because I have a fucking short in my interface. I already told you that. That has nothing to do with the connection. Your net is fucked up though. Your net connection's weak.
My net is the greatest net. I'm looking at it right now. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I'm looking at mine too, and it's fucking perfection.
It isn't.
You know what you are?
Stop fucking lying.
You're lukewarm. You're a lukewarm John Hughes screenplay right now.
Exactly.
You are this movie. But, everything's good. We're good. We're cruising. Keep on cruising. Keep on cruising. Hey, speaking of keep on cruising, Josh James, he likes to give Pauly Shore a hard time on his YouTube channel. He'll post videos and say, cringy things. And he posted an interview we do with Bill Burr. And I watched it and I'm like, I don't think this is that bad. He said it was cringe. And
Pauly Shore is the fucking total alpha.
He called him a sycophant, which, I get it. He kind of comes off like that, but...
Yeah, fucking Bill Burr is a sycophant, because Bill Burr kneels down and prays to fucking Pauly Shore, and he's a fucking nobody. Pauly Shore is the alpha.
Pauly Shore can come off like that, but at the same time, all these guys, like even your Bill Burrs, have known Pauly Shore probably 20, 30 years. Like, they all go through the Comedy Store and his mom and all that shit, so it's not like he doesn't know these people. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe it's just...
Target.
Yeah, so... Part of me's like, oh God, it's a giant ad for Target. But on the other hand, it's like, I like that it's Target because it makes it more grounded in reality. It's much more potent that it's Target than if it was just like a shop mart. They just made some generic Megalo Mart.
That would have been fucking dank. Fucking, what's his name's working at the Megalo Mart with him? Hiding in between the aisles and shit with his trumpet.
Oh, Chuck Mangione?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, so what was the deal? John Candy, he just like made a shit ton of cameos in movies, just like one scenes. He did that a lot, especially John Hughes movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know he was in Uncle Buck, but he started just showing up for one day's work.
Why wouldn't you?
John Candy would have made this movie better if he just was in it a little more, because he's very likable.
I wish I heard you say that.
You didn't hear me say that?
Nope. Just cut in and out.
Dude, it's your connection, bro.
Oh, I got the best connection. But yeah, they're just hanging out, having fun, talking back and forth, and it's all dank. He's basically John Candy's gonna offer him like a really nice salary, and he's gonna take it, and then we're gonna find out like, oh, he thought that was somebody else, and he didn't realize this was just the guy coming in to be the mop guy or something overnight.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, you get $4.40 for an hour. Fucking retarded.
Yeah,
amazing.
He thought he was going to be walking out with $45K benefits and car privileges, and $45K back in 91 was probably a nice chunk of change. That was probably, I don't know, $70K.
For $4.44 an hour, he should have started a fucking chemical fire and burnt this place to the fucking ground on his way out.
I don't really get the whole scene after this. Speaking of that, when he comes in for his first night and he's acting like he's the boss, probably just to fuck with everybody because it's late at night, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really go anywhere.
Fucking, not only that, when was the last time you got a job and you show up the first day? It doesn't matter how easy the job is, how, like, fucking difficult it is. And the fucking guy that's supposed to train you just leaves and locks you in there. That's amazing.
I know. It's really self-serving to the plot, wouldn't you say? But yeah, amazing. He's like, oh, you think we'd give a rookie keys on their first day? He's like, we'll see you in the morning.
I think you would show them how to run all the fucking equipment you want them to use. Retard. Fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, they must have glossed over some stuff because he happened to know. There's a point in this movie where he's like, I got to go pick flies out of the fucking fluorescent lighting. And he probably had a laundry list of shit we didn't see, but how much instruction do you...
They still got to show you how to take that fucking thing off the light and all that shit.
How much instruction do you need to be a janitor?
You fucking... They show you how to do everything, yeah. They got to.
This was back in the glory day, too, where you applied and you interviewed in person like this and you got hired on the spot. Now it's like everything's online for the most part, unless it's like some mom and pop shop down the street. But, everything's online. Then you have to go through one or two interviews. And even for a job like Target, but back in the day, you could just walk in somewhere and get a job. I mean, I guess he applied and this is his interview, but This guy's a total dummy, man. How could he mistake? I mean, this guy's clearly like what, 20 years old, 21.
Fucking 40. The actor, or he's supposed to be 20?
He's supposed to be like 20. He's like, right? Maybe he's even younger. He's like fresh out of high school, maybe 19. Why would he think this guy was his fucking manager or whatever the fuck position it was?
Why wouldn't he?
Overall, I like the setup. I kind of dig the idea that it all takes place, over one night, and I even like the store setting. It's kind of like Dawn of the Dead, where hey, when I was a kid, I thought it always would be cool being locked in a mall overnight, and you could just kind of have access to everything, kind of like they do. I've thought about this too, like what would it be like to be like Chuck Mangione and be locked in a department store when you were a kid, and I could just like play with all the toys and play all the video games and eat all the food and shit like that.
You could probably go and you'd probably get fired if you're eating their food.
But I'm just saying, when you're a kid, you think about that, and they kind of do this. He's stuck in the store all night. Did he? Well, I guess he never came back because the way the movie ends, I guess. But
exactly, he did it once. He fucking was gone, like a fucking ghost in the night. Slipped right out of there, like me after I get done fucking Jennifer Connelly in the ass. I slip right out of there. And then fucking let her sit over my face and let all my nut just run onto my face.
Which movie was it that she shows her tits in?
I don't know.
Did she show it in Requiem for a Dream? Maybe not that movie. Which Requiem for a Dream, I don't like that movie. Can't get into it.
Yeah, fucking. Here's where she kisses Bob.
Looks like Vince McMahon.
He goes for it. It's like, isn't she supposed to be like 18, maybe? I guess 18 would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're out of high school.
Yeah. But then she just gives this guy a handshake. What a bitch. This guy's clearly the more better looking guy.
And he leans in.
Exactly.
The dad's a total beta.
Mm-hmm.
This scene's cool. I mean, this scene's interesting, but...
He was imagining fucking her kissing him and shit. The fucking dad. He was like, I want that Conley puss.
Well, I mean, no, seriously. I wonder if like she gets diddled too, because maybe that was like her making him jealous,
Why would she want to make the guy that rapes her jealous? Like, so that he rapes me again tonight?
I don't know.
Fucking Aaron's got Stockholm syndrome. See, now he's all pissed. He's like, oh, you pull another stunt like that, I'll beat you with my dick right across the face.
So what's your opinion of this movie, though? It's not that, you can't tell me it's great.
It's amazing.
And what's your takeaway?
Fucking, we got Dermot Mulroney here and his brother playing two fucking henchmen that fucking break in. They're just kind of there until the end of the movie.
Yeah. Dermot Mulroney and, sounds like a pasta.
Fucking good pasta.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even like these guys. These guys to me should be really lovable and kind of funny, but they're not. They're just kind of dopey. They're not like Harry and Marv, you know what I mean?
This reads like a script, like one of those scripts you write as you're learning how to write a script that never sees the light of day. And like even ideas in this script ended up being used in fucking Home Alone. But then like after Home Alone came out and was huge, they were like, give us whatever you got laying around. And then he gave him this. And yeah, this is a 5 out of 10 to me. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I give it to. It's just kind of middle of the road. But no, I mean, I'm not knocking its simplicity, but it is very simple. Such a very simple story. These are characters that we've explored in other movies before. You kind of see it. It's all by the numbers too. And it's like the second you see these fucking little burglars and they don't talk them out again, it's like they're going to end up at the fucking Target. And that's kind of where the movie's going to come to its head. I don't know. It's just very laid out. You got Stranger Things.
I forgot the burglars even were introduced before they showed up at the end.
Yeah, they show them once, and I don't know. Maybe there was like a fucking something on like a news bit or something. Yeah, they just barely show them a little bit to set it up.
You could tell this is like the rough idea version of what ended up being in Home Alone. What's funny is I think in Germany they tried to sell this movie as like a sequel to Home Alone, as like a spin-off, like, oh, this is Kevin's cousin.
Work Alone.
It's Kevin's cousin in a mall.
In a Target.
It's literally like they even titled it that or something. Fucking betas.
Really?
Exactly. I see how they fell for something stupid like fucking Hitler.
But what's fun But what's funny is though, compared to Home Alone, the portion of this movie where we have like a showdown between them and the burglars is like what 5 minutes? It's nothing.
Yeah, it's like we don't know how else to end it, so bring these guys in.
Yeah, it's a
And
really.
then he just had to rewrite a really quick draft where we'll show them at the beginning. So that
And hey, really quick, I like took a piss or something real quick, but when he's roller skating around in the fucking wedding veil and all that shit in the skirt, and he sees her in the store too, why is she in the store after hours too? Did she just stay there?
She's planning on stealing something, and she says she falls asleep while she's in the dressing room. She wants to steal something so that her dad will get pissed off, and then she'll embarrass him because he's like, yeah.
I know that much, but she's that's what she claims. She fell asleep in the dressing room. Is that legit, or is she lying? Is that really what the story is?
I think she did. I think yeah.
That is the dumbest self-serving fucking plot.
You
really?
just think it's dumb because you're a fucking tiny IQ. It's really, really smart.
Who falls asleep in a dressing room?
Who doesn't? I fucking fell asleep. I fall asleep in a dressing room every time I use one. It's really fucking comfy, those seats.
And when they close up a store, do they not check all that shit?
Will Wheaton.
That's not Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. That's Will Wheaton. There.
It's not Will Wheaton.
It is.
No.
That's clearly Will Wheaton.
But why would somebody, when people close up and stuff, people check to make sure there's no one in the dressing rooms, no one's in the bathrooms and all that shit?
No, they don't, Aaron. Doesn't happen. Clearly.
I guess so.
It's like, yeah, this guy, he doesn't show him how to fucking clean all this shit. And then he shows up the next day. It's like, if you want it done, like, if you want to fucking walk in the next day and see clean floors that are up to your standards, you should probably fucking show them what to do, how to do all of it.
I mean, you would think this guy's only job would be clean all the floors, because that's a big enough job for one shift, right? Just to kind of buffer all the floors and sweep.
Exactly. But he's probably got to wash the windows and all that shit.
Thin penis.
Look at this guy. Don't you just want to fuck his mouth?
He was at the first Crypticon that Riverman and I attended, and all weekend long, man, he was just drinking piss water, natural ice, like the cheapest, shittiest redneck beer, like at his booth, just kind of belching, and he was drunk all weekend.
Cool.
And he had really nobody in his line, which is weird because he's been in a shit ton of movies,
You should have walked over there, grabbed him by his big fucking stupid neck and told him, like, why the fuck did you leave Jim to fucking clean up the floor by himself and get robbed by some fucking asshole robbers, bitch?
He was like literally staying in the hotel room right next to us because he'd like come out of the room next to us and like he'd be wearing like camo shorts and a fucking, Kiss Me I'm Irish fucking shirt while I'd be drunk, drinking just the worst.
You should have opened up that door that links the two rooms together and tried to fuck him.
Yeah, he was Thin Penis from Deuce Bigalow. He's obviously in House of a Thousand Corpses, I believe. Was he in the first one or the second one? I don't know. But he's in one of them.
Has he been both of them?
No, he plays the brother of the cop in the first one, I think, that dies, and he's in the second one, and he's getting revenge. Yeah, I know. It's shitty Rob Zombie logic.
It's amazing logic. He's the greatest writer, director of our time. But yeah, let's talk about some shitty jobs. I guess we could. What was your first shitty job?
Well, my first shitty job. So I'll take you through my first
jobs are shitty, I guess.
Technically, my first job that I had was a paper boy. I had a paper boy job, a paper route. I was probably 11 or 12. I was probably 12, maybe 11.
He was 12.
And I didn't last, man. I got one paycheck because it was so tough.
Because you ran into Jennifer Connelly in a fucking dressing room and she wanted to run away to Hollywood, right?
No, it's just I was really, really small. I was a tiny guy, and then I fucking had to get one of those like double, it was like a double bag. It had a bag on the front and a bag on the back, right? I'm carrying like a double load, and it was just super heavy, man. And the straps they gave me were held together by like a metal chain, like on the front and the back, and they were just clamping down on my shoulders. It was a pain in the ass. And then I'd be waddling down the fucking streets and stuff, doing my route, and it was really tough to carry. And then everybody, dude, okay, dogs chase you. Fucking dogs will chase after you and shit like that if you can't do anything because you got papers all around you. And then I would come across some fucking asshole like 16-year-olds, in high school that would fucking give me a hard time and fucking steal my papers and shit and like rag on you. And so it basically turned into a few weeks of my boss getting reports of certain people not getting their papers at all. You know, maybe me being late on my route in general, but some people just not getting any of them because I would get my papers stolen by fucking bullies, dude. And shit. And it was just like out of a movie, man. I remember running away from a dog and taking one of the papers and throwing it at him. It's just like a fucking movie. And so after a couple weeks or whatever, we got the call that, he's fired. And I got one paycheck. And the paycheck wasn't much. I think the paycheck was probably $60, and I used it to buy Mortal Kombat 4 on the Nintendo 64. It was well worth it.
Now look at this. They set it up that he's going to turn off every third light in the store, and then it goes nowhere because he just turns the lights back on. So why was that scene even included?
Well, he turns off the lights later when they get broken into. Does that tie him?
I don't know.
Well, we'll have to review it when it comes to, but he ends up turning off the lights on them.
Maybe.
I don't know. But, so yeah, that was my first job technically. But my first real job, I mean, like, you know, when I was old enough to work and like punch in and out somewhere was when I was 16. And I got a seasonal job at Toys R Us for the holidays. And that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. That was my first real job. And, you know, it was seasonal, so it only lasted about 4 months. And I had a good time. You know, I enjoyed the Christmas environment. I enjoyed having access to all these like new video games, and I didn't even let it bother me. You know, it was really, really busy. You know, checking out people, helping people, and stuff like that. But I liked it. I enjoyed it, and that was fun.
What a beta!
And that's the job where I bought. So technically, the first thing I ever bought with my own money was Mortal Kombat 4. But I don't think about the paper route because it was so short. But at Toys R Us, that was the first job where my first paycheck, I went and bought a jumbo bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. I bought
Cool Ranch. What a beta!
Listen, I'll say I had never really bought my own stuff before, right? It's like we had nothing. We were such a
fucking dude. It's nacho cheese Doritos or nothing.
Listen, I'm saying we had nothing, and we certainly didn't have a lot of food. So we didn't live in a household where I could just go and raid the fucking snack cupboard or whatever. No, I mean, if my dad heard me grabbing a potato chip, I'd fucking hear about it, you know? So we were poor. Anyway, so it was a big deal for me to buy my own shit that was mine and not have any limitations on what I can eat or drink. And we weren't even allowed to drink. Dude, if my dad brought 1 2-liter, I'm not shitting you. I've probably mentioned this. We would like late at night, we would just like want to sneak a taste because we were so depraved of that shit. And he would bust us because he would mark a line of where the level of the soda was in the bottle.
That's why you fill it up with water.
I did that with my mom's booze bottles. But anyway, no. And so he would bust us for that, and it would be a big deal. So anyway, my first paycheck, that I keep it simple, man. I literally buy myself a jumbo bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, my own 2-liter bottle of Pepsi. It might have been like a 12-pack of Pepsi. I can't remember. But anyway, it was my own soda. And I bought Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on DVD. And
they still drank your shit and ate your food, didn't they?
No, but I gave them the rest of my paycheck.
What a beta.
I mean, you know, to me, it was like, fuck, I don't even give a shit, man. I got Doritos. I got my own Doritos and I got my own fucking drink and I got a DVD. I was fucking happy. And in my mind, it's like, well, you know what? As long as I can work and it gets me out of this fucking hellacious fucking house, even if all I get is a couple of snacks and a movie once every 2 weeks, it's labor well fucking spent. And I think on my next paycheck, I bought, what was it?
A backbone?
No, no. I went to a used game place we had called Gamers in Omaha, Nebraska, and I bought, because I had a PS2, I bought Tekken 4, and that was my treat. And then I probably bought a snack too. But yeah, I just kept giving my parents the money. I took the rest of the money, actually, that I didn't spend, and I bought my dad a cheap fucking car, because they didn't have a car. Nobody had a car.
And then he flipped it.
No, that was my car my dad flipped.
Oh, yeah.
That after I bought my dad a car, then we moved. Like right after the holidays, like when it turned over to be the new year, then we moved to Missouri, and then I was still 16. Then I got another job at I got a job at a Burger King for 1 day.
Beta.
And I don't even know if I finished the shift. I can't remember because it sucks. It was so fucking stupid, and I really didn't like it. I think I worked there maybe one day, and then the next day I came in and on my lunch break I went across the street, and then I got a job at a locally owned sub shop. So I worked at Burger King for one fucking day, and I remember my fucking boss. And this person didn't exist to me then, but now, of course, he looked exactly like James Rolfe. He was this like college age guy that looked just like James Rolfe, the angry AVGN. And but yeah, so I worked there one day, so that barely even counts. It was a shitty job. And then, but this next place I went to, man, it was called Sharp's Way, not Subway, Sharp's Way, right? And it was ran by this pedophile-looking dude named Reggie Sharp. Reggie, a white guy named Reggie too, which is weird. Never met a white guy named Reggie.
Beta. Maybe this is just evidence that anybody that runs a Subway sandwich or any kind of sandwich making operation is a pedophile.
Dude, he was really creepy because he just looked like a guy that lured young girls into his fucking cold, dingy basement to record movies. You know, he looked super sleazy. And he would always spend all his time in his office. And whenever he would come out, he was always ferociously sweating like he had been masturbating. And I don't fucking know. He was really creepy. And he was just an asshole. And he would hire one kid like me, and that would be his only staff. And he would pay me minimum wage. And he would make me do fucking everything. He had his sister work for him, who would come in at like 4 a.m. and bake the bread. Now, this motherfucker had fucking good bread. I'll give him that. His bread was fucking the shit. But other than that, though, I did everything else. And I'd come in and I'd pretty much run the place. And this guy was an asshole, man. Fucking asshole. And I was super nice, and you know, I just tried to keep my head down and, you know, say yes sir and all that stuff and just do my work and get paid. And I worked there about 3 or 4 months, and I worked there. I was his only employee. I would work double shifts every day for him, which is really inconvenient. I'd come in the morning and I'd work through the lunch rush. I'd go home for like fucking 2 hours, 3 hours, and come back and work the night shift, which is really inconvenient for anybody, but I just fucking did it. Basically, it allowed me not to have much of a life, but I didn't really care. I was new in town. I didn't really know anybody anyway. So, but I remember one day I was working with him on a weekend, and it was just me and him. And I guess there was a health inspector coming by or something, or the health inspector had come by when I wasn't there. And basically, he had to get some shit in order. So he was putting me to work. I was just cleaning. It was super dead, and I was deep cleaning everything. And I don't remember what it was. What the fuck was it, man? He was barking these crazy ass orders, and I was trying to handle the fucking register and people coming in and doing shit. And I think I had a Judge Reinhold moment, you know, from like Fast Times, like, I'm gonna kick 100% of your ass. Not really. He said something, and I just asked him a question, and he was so on edge, like I think he was coked out of his mind. He took it as back talk or something. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but he just looked at me and he goes, "How about this? No blah, no job." And he did his hands like, "No job," in my face. Like, he snapped at me. Like, where'd the fuck this come from? You could tell this guy was dealing with a whole lot of fucking baggage outside of work. And then I fucking lost it. And then I took my fucking apron off, and I probably told him to fuck himself. I threw it in his face, and I walked out. I walked out of the back of the kitchen, man, and I remember I took his entire rack of like chips and Fritos, you know, and I just fucking, you know, threw them across the dining room. It, you know, made a big stink. I knocked like the fucking tea thing over where you tap your iced tea. I just made a big fucking scene. And then you know, I went home, and I remember I told my dad that, yeah, well, I quit. And you know, I told him, I said I was nothing but fucking awesome to this guy. I fucking worked like a slave. He pays me nothing, and I come in all hours of the day. I have no life. I give it all to this guy, and this guy's nothing but an asshole all the fucking time.
You know what's funny is he was thinking the same thing, and whenever he did the no job and he fucking flipped out, he's like, that's what fucking made him finally leave me? Like, what a beta.
Well, maybe.
See, even when you win, you lose.
But he was a total fucking asshole, and I think he was even shaving money off my checks anyway. You know, everything about him was scummy. And anyway, so I told my dad, I was like, man, I fucking, you know, I go to this job twice a day. I go twice a day. I'm on time, and I work for this guy. I basically, I fucking work all the day, and then I close up at night. It's like, and the guy pays me nothing, and I pretty much just fucking said, yes, sir, can I have some more, every time he was verbally abusive, you know? And he basically fucking broke the back of the camel, and he said, I don't even remember what the fuck it was he said to me that made me kind of like say, whoa, man, is that what? And then he fucking freaked out on me. My dad never gave me the benefit of the doubt. He came home from work one day and he said, so I went into Sharp's Way and I talked to this Reggie Sharp, and I'm like, holy shit, like, why? And he's like, and I said, hey, so I heard my son quit on something happened with my kid. And then this guy folded in front of my dad, because my dad was a really big, intimidating ex-con. And he goes, this is what he says. My dad is relaying this to me. He says, well, he's like, he was a good worker, and he just had a mouth on him. And then my dad said, yeah, I feel that. And he fucking sided with him. Like, well, yeah, I get it. He's a little prick, isn't he? All right, sorry for the hassle. Like, what?
Your dad's cool.
Dude, I felt so fucking betrayed. I'm like, Dad, you motherfucker. Like, why?
Did he say, that's right, I did fuck your mother?
I don't know. Like, he didn't. I was totally a sweet angel, man. I was a fucking quiet, don't speak unless spoken to, head down, yes, sir, no, sir. And this motherfucker took this fucking stranger's word that it was me. What?
Fuck me.
And that was just strike number 1,000,000 that my dad was a fucking asshole, man. This fucking asshole.
We just got a scene for no reason where the dad is eating chicken and he puts peanut butter on it. I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the dad up to? Why is it showing us him doing that? I don't know, but I want to see that.
That chicken looked good though, man. I couldn't believe it though. I remember I said, I remember I was just thinking to myself, like, Dad, I didn't tell him this because, I would have got popped in the mouth, but like, Dad, what the fuck? Didn't like not 2 months before me getting this job, did I not buy you a car with every earning I had from the previous job? The previous job I had to leave and we had to move town because you fucking lost our house and all our money because you went on a drug binge. Like, what the fuck? And I'm a shitty and you're taking this fucking pedophile's word over mine. Anyway, the 3 or 4 months I worked at this sandwich shop, I had saved up money to buy another car, like quote unquote my first car for me, right? And I remember I saved up like I don't remember, maybe $1,800. I want to say it cost me $1,800. Not a lot, but it was an 1989 Honda Accord, and this was in 2003, I think, or 2002, something like that. And the car itself was in great shape. I think it only had about 120,000 miles, which is good for that type of car. And it was in good shape. Like, I was super proud of it, man. I bought that. And as soon as I bought it, my dad his car broke down or something, because my dad didn't take care of shit, right? They were the kings. Both my parents were the kings of just having stuff and just letting it fucking burn to the ground. They didn't know anything about maintenance. Like, no, you have to fucking take care of that shit or it will break down. If you are good to it, it will last you for years and years and years. That's how it works. Anyway, he let all his shit to go to shit. And then as soon as I got that car, he seized my car because, quote unquote, I was, living under his roof, right? And I owed him everything. And he took my car. And yeah, he got really drunk one day and he rolled it off a fucking cliff. Fucking driving down some old country windy roads in the rain while drinking Jack Daniels. And his words, like I've told this story before, we hear a knock on the door. It's storming outside. I open it and it's just like Uncle Frank on Hellraiser. Aren't you going to let me in? Oh, yeah. He's like got rain pouring all over him. And he's just like high on life. Like, oh man, he's all excited. I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's like, what's going on? Are you all right? And he's just high on life and he's excited. I'm like, hey, I don't see a car. Where's my car? It's not out there. And I keep asking him and he keeps going on and on. I'm like, where is my car? He's like, man, I fucking rolled your car 7 times off a fucking cliff and survived. We got anything to drink? And I'm like, what? So, and I didn't get anything for it. And once again, I just put my head down and I was working another job at the time. I was working at my next job after Sharp's Way was a job I stayed at for like 3.5 years. And I just fucking took my lumps and I saved up again to buy another car. And when I got that car, I remember it was a Dodge Stratus. The second I bought that fucking car, I was working at an Italian restaurant talking about shitty jobs. I've brought up this job before. It was the worst job I've ever had. I spent 3.5 years there. The worst boss I've ever had, which I could go into horror stories about that. But yeah, I bought another car. And as soon as I got that, they fucking took it again.
Beta.
And I remember the first second I had, I convinced my mom to lend me the keys to my fucking car one weekend, like for a day. so I could like go do something. And I fucking took it, man. And I spent that day looking for an apartment. And I came back and said, hey, I got an apartment. I got approved. I'm moving out. And I fucking took the car and I just left. I grew that pair.
I always hear people talk about like, oh yeah, I was out of my parents' house right when I could. I'm like, why? And because I had parents that didn't make me fucking pay rent and shit. And I can see why you would want to.
Yeah. I mean, I moved. I wasn't even 18 yet. I moved out the second I could because even when I was working, man, every dime was going to them and they were taking everything that I tried to keep for myself. And it was fucking retarded. How many kids, bought 3 cars before they had their own car? I bought 3 shitty cars. Like most kids just have to save it for one to start. Amazing. It was terrible. And I remember when I did buy my own car, my dad was, my dad seized it. I was still learning to get my license when I got the very first car. I remember asking my dad, can you give me driving lessons? No. Like, you can't give me driving lessons on the car I bought you? No.
Fucking beta.
Like, what the fuck, man?
So
and I remember, this is actually funny.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I don't know. I remember I used to have to walk to school. I remember like freshman year. And I remember freshman year, I was probably like, okay, maybe it was more like sophomore year because I forgot I just turned 16 because I was working at Toys R Us. And I bought my dad that car. The first car. We live in Omaha, and I used to have to walk to school. We didn't have a bus. No, I take it back. My parents wouldn't pay for the bus, right? It wasn't free. We had to buy like bus passes and shit like that. Anyway, so I used to always have to walk to school, and it was like a 3-mile walk. So it wasn't that bad. I kind of enjoyed it, unless it was the winter. In the winter, we got hellacious storms, man. Tons of snow. We would get blizzards in the Midwest and Missouri, and Zach knows. He lives in Illinois. And I remember I had just bought...
Yo, what's up? It's Neighbor News 9. You gotta be real quiet. And you might can see him.
Tell him what just happened, Aaron. Tell him what just happened there.
Well, as you guys have been listening for the last 40-odd minutes or so, Zach's been accusing my beta-ass internet as the reason for the call cutting in and out. And, well, I mean, that has proven to be false. Because
no, but it was yours. It just your beta internet was so beta it caused a chain reaction, which fucking went through the power lines and made a storm form outside my house, which I didn't even know was going on. And then my entire just fucking electricity went out.
Yeah, I lost the call ended again, but it never came back. And then Zach messaged me that there was an outage, and I'm like, oh, I see. But anyway. I think we almost had to do this tomorrow, and I don't know if that would have been the first time, or maybe we've done that before. We had to pick something up the next day. It doesn't usually go well when we do that. It's weird. But we are a couple hours later. 2 hours have passed since the last time you heard our voices 2 seconds ago, if that makes sense. But
we're a little older, a little wiser.
Have hair in places in our bodies that we never had before.
Mm-hmm.
You tell him about my pubes. I remember what I was saying though before Zach left us, and it was we were talking about stories about shit jobs, and I was ending on the story about my father, how I had bought him that first car, and I didn't typically like asking him for anything. I used to walk to school 3 miles, and I would brave a lot of like shitty weather, but I didn't ever like go to him unless I really felt like it was necessary. And this one particular day, it was blizzard. Like we got a lot of that in the Midwest, and it was sleeting, so like frozen rain, and it was just too much. Like I legit probably wouldn't have made it to school because all the streets were iced over. I would have just been like slipping and sliding like Marv in Kevin's fucking entryway basement, the whole time. And because it took pretty much Armageddon for them to actually close schools down in the Midwest because they were used to such tumultuous weather. Anyway. So I remember this one particular day, mind you, I had given almost all the money I had made for my job and bought my father a car. And I went and asked him, hey, Dad, in the morning, is there any way I can get a ride to school? In the car I bought him, mind you. And he did not. He threw me a fucking poncho. The fucker threw me a poncho. Beta. Yeah, I mean,
take the car back.
I mean, and I don't even think he threw me like a real poncho. It was like a trash bag converted into a poncho, like white trash Joe Dirte style. But yeah, it was just one of those things where he would usually make excuses for being an asshole as trying to tough it.
Here's what you should have done. Here's the alpha move. You give him a new car, and then you drive it and flip it and say, sorry. Have fun with that.
That would only work if he had bought the car. But why would I flip a car I bought? That sucks. That's shit.
Exactly.
But no, but you know what I'm saying? You know those types of people where he would try and use this as a cover. He would try and cover him just being a straight up asshole, as trying to just make us tough, harden us up. Like, no, you're just being an asshole. Like, what? Like, I walk to school 364 days, or, you know, obviously school's not in session every day, but I walk to school every single day and I do all this shit. I'm coming to you once when there's sleet and it's raining and I could die out there probably. It's like,
That's why you set him up like basically every time you're late to school, just say, yeah, I'm sorry, I got to take care of my retarded dad. Like he's mentally retarded and I got to take care of him. That way the next time he's at a parent teacher conference, they're going to be like, oh, your son told us you were retarded. And like that would like really fuck with him.
no, he would just want to beat the shit out of me when he got home.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, you know, it's like Kevin Bacon in that movie Sleepers, right? Remember those like kids that he molested and they grew up to be kind of thugs and they ran into him at a bar eating a steak? Remember?
I thought Kevin Bacon was one of the molested in that movie.
No, he's the one that did the molesting. He was the guard in the children's like juvie, right? Remember
Alpha, our boy Kevin?
It was him and another actor that played another guard. They woke him up in the middle of the night, the four boys who grew up to be Jason Patrick, Brad Pitt, and these other two guys, the ones that ended up that I'm talking about. They're not name actors, but they're character actors. But there's a scene, they wake him up in the middle of the night and they take him like somewhere, maybe like into some like empty fucking quarters or whatever, cells or whatever. And then they throw them all in the corner in this one cell or room. And I just remember one of them saying, "What do you want?" Like they're all scared because they just got in there. And he just looks at him, "A blowjob. A blowjob."
Yeah.
That's what he says. And okay, and it's obviously insinuated that he raped him a lot, like their entire tenure there, because in the movie Sleepers, they accidentally killed somebody. Like they thought it'd be fun, a hot summer day in New York, playing stickball and all that shit. They decided to steal, I think it was like this ice cream vendor, like something. They were playing a prank that got out of hand. They lost control of this cart because they were pushing it away, and I think it rolled down a hill and it ran over like some old man. And it killed them. So they all got sentenced to juvie and raped by Kevin Bacon and probably the other dude. Anyway, so they run into him years later at a bar and they confront him. And Kevin Bacon's, he looks more ragged now. His hair's longer. He's older. And they sit down and he doesn't recognize them, who they are, because they're all grown up now. And of course, he's kind of an asshole. Like, "Can I help you with something, chief?" He's like trying to cut a steak. And, they try and give him hints of who they are, and it's not really ringing a bell. But then they hit certain trigger words, and you can tell he realizes who they are. And then they out themselves, like, "Well, you're looking at such and such and such and such." And then you just see like his face kind of turn white, like oh shit. But he doesn't. He plays it cool. He just goes, "Oh, so how you been?" And he starts cutting his steak again. And it's really funny.
Power move.
Yeah. Like he's just totally flipping on. And then then of course they have like they start attacking him verbally and threatening him and whatever. And then he starts going on the defense like, "Oh no. Well, this is where it's circling back to this shit like my dad would say, like, "Oh, I was trying to make you hard, make you tough, make you hard."
Oh, he was trying to make him hard, all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. It's like, "I was trying to make you tough, make you hard." We used to quote that in my family. And of course they fucking kill him. They open fire and shoot him there under the table and murder him. And that's what the whole movie's about. They're going to trial.
And they rape his fucking dead body.
No, the whole movie's the whole movie's about them going to trial. And the other two boys that also got molested, they kind of went the other route, right? Two of them became thugs and two of them turned their life around and became like high-powered attorneys. The other two that got raped are defending them, and they're trying to get them off of the murder because they all got raped by this guy, and they don't want him to go down. So that's the whole movie. But anyway, it's really funny, and Kevin Bacon, yeah, he played a pedo twice. What do you know?
As you fucking do.
Typecast.
When you're the alphist.
And if he ever got the role of playing Freddy Krueger like people are seeming to campaign, he would play a pedo 3 times.
Amazing.
I would think that's like a thing you do once in your acting career. I get it. You want to win an Oscar, you play a gay guy. Great. You want to win an Oscar, you play a mentally challenged person. Great. You want to win. You don't play more than one mentally challenged person because then you become typecast. You don't want to play more than one kitty diddler because it just doesn't look good. But anyway. So what about you, man? What about some shit jobs? Go through. I mean, I have a few more I can go over in a little bit, but what about your first jobs? Take us through your first string of gigs.
My first job, I was basically like this job, and my mom worked at the place, so I could eat all the food I wanted and just say, yeah, I ate this and that, and then it was like, okay. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of shit jobs. I worked at a factory, and that was shitty.
Canning peaches factory downtown.
It was making fucking like car lights. And like, yeah, it was like, I got it as like, oh, I'm going to have I didn't want to get rid of the job I had at the time at working nights. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have that job. And then like, at nighttime I'll go to the other job. But the other job, like the factory job was during the weekend. And then I got it. And it was like, oh yeah, you can get overtime, but it's not mandatory. So then, like, I get it, and then, like, all of a sudden, they're basically telling everybody, yeah, make sure you sign up for at least 1 day of overtime. And, like, I remember there's this one day whenever, we got our shit done, and I was getting ready to leave, and then he yelled at me, and he was like, he didn't even know my name. He's like, Lester!
It's not even close.
Lester! And I finally turn around, like, what the fuck is this idiot yelling at? And then I realize he's yelling at me. And then, like, he was like, yeah, come here. And the guy next to him was like, acting like, he was acting like it was me. But like, oh, I didn't hear you yelling my name. I was like, that's not my fucking name, retard. So I walk up, and he's like, you didn't sign up for any overtime. And I'm like, yeah, I got another job. And he goes, I don't care. This is your real job. I'm like, what the fuck?
And I hate that. I know we've all worked with those assholes at those kind of jobs that take it so seriously that act like it's our universe too. Exactly. And at least the guy could have called you Zeke or something. That would have been funny. Like, getting it kind of close, but not really. Lester.
Fucking Lester.
It's not even close. It's not even the same amount of syllables, not the same letters. It's totally off. But
do I look like a Lester?
Molester, Lester the molester, Chester the molester. Yeah, maybe.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I had that kind of job too. And I feel like we've talked about this at some point in the past, and even that story. But yeah, the worst job I'd ever had, it was at this, I'll dox it, I don't care, this place called Zio's Italian Kitchen. It was shit, man. And this one guy, I'll dox him, his name was Kevin Longley. He was fucking terrible. I fucking hate that guy. He did the same thing, man. I told him they were running me ragged. I was the working horse. I was the guy that would have open availability. And when you're a kid and you're dumb and you're 17, 18, because I started there when I was 16, I turned 17, 18, 19, and I worked there for a few years, all the way till I was like 19. And yeah, I was this guy that would just, hey, can you work? And I'd be like, yep. And eventually you start realizing, wait a second, this isn't making me look better. They're just taking advantage of me, because you start finding out that there's a lot of people that you work with that are making a lot more than you, and they do a lot less, and they don't work any extra. They say no. They have set schedules. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a second.
Amazing.
Yeah. So if you become this person that's a little too giving and easy to push over, people will take advantage of you and walk over you. So I learned a lot at that job. I learned how to say no. I learned how to stand my ground, and I remember I don't remember what it was. I wanted to get a second job because the way they were working me, it was too inconsistent and it was fucking me over. And I had a new opportunity somewhere. And so I said, hey, for the first time in like 3.5 years, I said, hey, I need mornings because I got another job and I'm going to work nights. I'll still work for you guys full time. I'm working for them kind of like full time too. I was okay with doing that for a little, or maybe I said something about part time. I don't even think so. I think I even said it was like going to be full time, or I said, just give me a consistent schedule. That's all I ask. I used to work 4 and 5 weeks at a time, no time off, like in this job, like just into overtime. I used to open and close in the same day. I'd get there at fucking 7 a.m. and I'd leave at 11 p.m. Damn. Yeah. So, and I remember when I went to him and I said, hey, look, I really need a set schedule. Like if you could put me on mornings, he pulled that shit. He's like, he just kind of looked at me like a total power move and kind of smiling at me like that asshole side smile. I'm like, I'm sorry. I play second fiddle for nobody. Like, all right, like get your teeth out of my mouth. Like, daddy, like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't give a shit. And he tried doing that bullshit to me. And, I remember I pushed a little hardball and I said, look, man, I don't remember what it was. He started scheduling me and I tried to see if I could balance them both for a while. And I told another manager who used to work alongside me before he got promoted, I said, look, man, I got to start this job at this time. You got to put me on days or I'm not showing up. And I gotta be done by this time. And which is normal time. Like you usually work till 4. Great. I work at 5. It worked perfectly. So he tried that for like a week. And I remember he was intentionally making my life difficult. So like he would, because before we could leave, we had to get checked out, right? We had always like closing duties and things we had to do to prepare the person for the night, whatever, because we worked at a restaurant and we had to have someone check us out. And so I'd have all my shit done. And then this fucking asshole manager would come up to me intentionally trying to rub me. And he would be like, nope, he would find other shit for me to do before I could leave. Intentionally trying to make me late for that other job. And I kind of dealt with it all week. And then I think on the Friday or maybe like the following Monday, he tried doing that shit. He gave me a whole bunch of shit to do. And I fucking walked out. I mean, I walked out at like 5, my time was up and I fucking left. And I left my shit, undone because they were being assholes. And I came back in one more day and they pulled me in the office to like fucking talk to me about it or whatever. And I fucking took my shit off and I literally threw it in his face with force. Like he probably could have called it assault.
Fucking baby, you know what the thing is too is they probably they knew like, oh yeah, we want to get him to quit, so like fucking they did that shit to try to make you quit so that they didn't have to fire you. It's fucking
and
bullshit.
they don't have to pay unemployment. Well, they could have paid me unemployment anyway because I was employed by somebody else. I was still employed, but what they do is in the contract there when you get signed on, if you quit without a notice, like they ended up making me do. They garnish you down to minimum wage, right? So on your final paycheck, they can pay you fucking whatever the minimum is. But who gives a fuck? I didn't even give a shit at the time, man. It's just so insulting. But bottom line is these people that treat these jobs like they're the be all end all, like the guy in this fucking movie, that storeroom guy. I mean, who gives a fuck, man? They try and hang this power over you like they're your god. Like, oh, you can't live without this fucking minimum wage job or this barely over minimum wage job. Fuck you. Those are the kind of jobs where you have to work like fucking 60 hours a week or whatever. And I don't know. They just like to pull this power move on you. And these are all people that are probably uneducated and that probably didn't go to college themselves. They're just losers. It's like, what the fuck?
Beta cucks.
Don't treat people like shit, man. And it's funny because I respect anybody that has any kind of job. That's great. If you manage a restaurant, first of all, you can make bank if you manage a restaurant, especially if you're a general manager, you make 6 figures, no problem. But I'm just saying sometimes people take really minor middle management positions really to heart and they like to bully people and they like to abuse that power because they probably never had power anywhere else. But the fact of the matter is I do take a little bit of joy knowing that I'm farther ahead now than some of those people were when they were being dicks, So I mean, that's all I need, I don't have to like go in there fucking and eat and flaunt shit at them, and they're probably working that same job being fucking assholes to people. It just, I don't know. Basically, don't treat people like shit, man. Don't people, especially like, don't be some fucking 40-year-old treating some fucking 19-year-old like shit who's on his way up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's absolute fucking bullshit, man. Maybe you're going to treat some fucking 18-year-old kid like ass and he's going to grow up to fucking be an investor in whatever. Maybe he's going to buy out the fucking restaurant. Maybe he's going to buy out something. He's going to fire your ass. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
I mean, wouldn't that be funny though? Shit like that happens.
Exactly. See, if I ever make a lot of money, I'm going to fucking go out of my way to buy up that fucking factory and then fucking burn it in front of that guy and piss on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Beta.
Anyway, we're getting carried away. But I feel like we're tapping into this guy and what his grievance is with the world. I don't know. Actually, he never actually acts like that. He's not mad at employers. He's not mad at the world. He just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with his life. He's a little different. And he talks about how he was a loser in school and shit. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I think the characters are all a little half-baked. I don't know. I don't really care about any of them, to be honest with you. Even the main guy, like we're supposed to care, I guess. Are we supposed to relate to him? I guess you kind of can, but...
Fucking, we talked over the part where fucking Jennifer Connelly was revealing, like, Yeah, like she's used to basically. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. I forgot. This movie, it's kind of it's easy to forget. See, I can see why people love it or like it at least because they had to have seen it when they were kids.
Mm.
But like, yeah, sometimes you just seeing a movie when you're young is it makes it like really resonate with you.
I think it.
And if you don't do it, you didn't see it when you're young, you missed it.
I think it resonates for some people. Like, obviously, there's some people that can relate to the male guy, this dude, and there's probably some people that can relate to the female, Jennifer Connelly. But I personally can't relate to him. I've never had the problem this guy has. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what I was going to do right out of high school, and I kind of took a few years. I took my time with that, but I didn't, like, just not do shit. Like, this guy is one of those guys that doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't move out of his parents' house, and he refuses, and he can't hold down simple jobs. That wasn't me. So while I was trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do, I was working very hard. I was able to hold down jobs, and I would travel, and I would do other shit. So I can't really relate to this dude. He's just kind of a... But I'm sure there's a lot of lazy, like, kids out there. I don't know.
You were kind of a cuck, though. You did buy your dad a car and let him flip it and then buy him another car.
Well, no, I bought him a car. Then I bought me a car that he flipped. And then I bought me another car, and he took it again. But then I left. Yeah, no, I get it. It's a shit thing.
Who's the bigger cuck, the lazy kid or you?
I don't know.
He's got a nice target on his back, though, for me to shoot my commies on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I was legitimately trying to remember what Jennifer Connelly told him, and I can't forget.
I think it's just a generic story of like somebody on the opposite side of the tracks that also can somehow relate, right? It's like Aladdin. Like Aladdin was the street rat, but Jasmine was trapped too. Even though she had all this money, she was trapped in her own way, right? Aladdin was trapped because he didn't have money and he was looked down on by society, and and then Jasmine had everything seemingly, right? But no, she was just as trapped. She couldn't leave the palace walls. Her father was controlling her life and deciding who she can marry, right? It's the same thing because she was Miss Popular, because they kind of talk about how, remember I remembered you, and I dream about you all the time, and we had this dance, we never got to finish it, and she didn't remember the dance. She still didn't remember the dance. So to him, she was Miss Perfect, Miss Popular, and she has it all. She's got money, but she's got her own fucking things controlling her. It's just that old thing.
And you know what? Similarly to this movie, I forget that anything that happens in that movie too.
What, Aladdin?
Aladdin, yeah.
Oh, Aladdin. Yeah, come on, everybody knows Aladdin front to back.
I don't. Forgot it 5 minutes after I watched it.
I feel like their relationship here is rushed. Like, doesn't it seem like they bond instantly?
It's one night, exactly.
But not even one night. Like, literally the second they're on screen, they're like having that dinner and they're just connected. And it would make sense to a degree if they pulled the trope of, oh, I always really liked you and you never talked to me. But she acknowledges, no, I don't remember you really. You know what I mean? It's not like he pined after her for the last like 5, 6, 7, 8 years or whatever. But he was invisible to her. So it really makes no sense that she would gravitate to the point where they're like, yeah, let's run away to California together. Let's have sex.
There's that line where she says like, where he says, I've dreamed about you. Don't take this the wrong way, which sounds fucking creepy no matter how you say it. But then like later on, he's like, can you do that thing I used to dream about? She assumes like, oh, he wants to do
the dance,
and
yeah.
And then it's the dance, and it's like that, like let her know, like, oh, he's a gentleman. I'm gonna run away with him.
Or he could be just spitting a line, and to me, when I hear a line like that, it tells me this guy's about the long game. That's all it is. Like he knows that line's gonna be a shoe in. He just needs to work at it, and then he's gonna get some action. Which, it was pretty much a surefire thing at that point. Because he even says, right, exactly. after she fell for that line, hook, line, and sinker, she goes, well, I thought it was going to be something else. And he's like, not yet, right? Like, oh, okay. So he's going to do it.
Yeah, he said, oh, let's start fucking whatever he said. I forgot.
Yeah.
Very forgettable, this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's a very by numbers. Like I said, if
This movie could have been better if Dolmet Maroney here, whatever his name is, showed up, fucked his girl right in front of him, and made him watch and cry like a little whiny bitch.
This easily could have been an exploitation film, and with a different director.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's got. You could easily turn this into more of a smut piece. Like right now, this whole scene could go backwards. These two guys could fucking fuck her on both ends, right in front of her, like a Chinese finger trap, and they could make him watch and cuck out. I don't know. A lot of stuff could happen.
And blow his cummies on their face.
It's just very anticlimactic too. The ending's not very satisfying. I mean, I don't know.
We're sorry whoever recommended this movie because we are shitting all over it.
I'm not trying to, because it's not a terrible. It's just a 5 out of 10. I agree with Zach. It's like a 5 out of 10. It's fine. It's only an hour and 22 minutes, so it's not insulting. You can totally watch it. This is the kind of, whenever I see a movie that I would say is a 5, I can take it or leave it. There are movies that if they had 10 or 15 more minutes of bloat on them, I'd be like, you're a fucking 2. But this isn't. It knows at least to be like a 80-minute movie, and it's in and out. It's probably not even 80 minutes if you account for all the credits and shit. It's super.
That floor is lucky.
Yeah. It's got his dick on it.
The way her titties are pressed on it. Amazing.
And don't get me wrong, I think the script is well done in the sense of like it hits all its points. It's a 3-act structure. It's got a beginning, middle, and end, and by the numbers. So like if you turn this into a script writing course, you'd probably get a passing grade because it's all here. But it's just not exciting. And if this was like the writer that put this out, if this was their first or second or third film, I wouldn't be so hard on them. But this is fucking what's his face, right? This is John Hughes. John Hughes. This ain't no Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club is a great movie. I do think Breakfast Club is a great movie, and it's a really good script. And to me, that movie really touches the nerves of that demographic, 100%. Like, and it does the same thing if you think about it. It's all contained in the detention, right? It's basically contained. There's a couple of setup pieces, but basically the whole movie is them in detention, and you have these characters who otherwise never would have associated with each other, getting to know each other, getting to know the real. That's all this is. It's them stuck in a store for the whole movie, and two people that never associate with each other in school, learning to appreciate each other, except it's after high school and mixed with that Home Alone thing. I mean, it's the same shit. So maybe, I wonder when he wrote this. Is it possible he wrote this even earlier? Maybe, is it possible he wrote this and then ended up writing The Breakfast Club, which kind of had a similar concept, but it was just fucking way better. And he's like, well, this is trash. And it just kind of sat on a shelf. It might have been. And he, like I said, they just might have been paying him money for scripts. Because if I were to bet, I don't think he was commissioned to do this. I think he had it lying around, right? And just like, here, you want this? Take it.
Apparently he wasn't happy with how it turned out, too. He wanted his name taken off of it.
Really?
The finished movie, yeah.
I mean, like I said, this type of movie, Breakfast Club, does it way better. I don't think all his movies are amazing, but they all have like a certain charm to them. Like Pretty in Pink's got a certain charm to it. 16 Candles. These movies have certain charms to them that really appeal to the demo they're trying to hit. Like, I get it. I'm not a 16-year-old girl that everybody forgot their birthday of. Nobody ever remembered my birthday. I didn't give a shit. But I get how a girl could relate to it, and they're charming enough. What's the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? That might be his best script. Like, that's a really well-written movie. I love Uncle Buck. So I don't know what it is. I just think this really seems like a half-cooked idea that he probably abandoned, and it eventually became something else. That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, you know what? I kind of like the concept. I don't really like how it all kind of worked out. Let's do The Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. I can make this better. That's just what it kind of feels like to me. Or like, let's backdate this idea. Let's take it to high school, man. Mm-hmm. But yeah. No, fuck this. I'm going to write Home Alone 3.
Oh, yeah.
I think he wrote Home Alone 3, though, new. Which is weird. Because that seems like maybe you lost a step now. Like, why would you write Home Alone 3? And it makes you wonder, like, if somebody else directed, if Chris Columbus directed Home Alone 3. Did I lose him?
Yeah, you cut out for a second.
Oh, yeah, you keep going out. That's the second time you've gone out, but usually come back. So I just kind of try and keep riffing. But no, I was saying it makes me wonder Is the script for Home Alone 3 really that bad? Because really, honestly, it's just more of the same. It's just like, it really is just like Home Alone. It feels cheap because, well, the movie was made. It just looks cheap. It makes me wonder, fuck, we lost Zach again. What the fuck? I am determined to finish this. Let's see if he comes back, folks. No time passed at all.
I feel like I'm fucking worthless in this commentary. I am not interjecting a lot. Yeah, this is the next day because we had to stop again because the fucking internet was being retarded.
It's freaking ridiculous. Like I think it's so weird because I feel like I said this yesterday, but to you guys, it's gonna be like just like 2 minutes ago. But it's what we get. We brought this upon ourselves because we've complained that this movie is just kind of and we somehow stretched out this 82-minute movie into like days.
Mm-hmm.
And I place a hex on the person that requested it. A curse on you.
Exactly.
No.
We're going to hunt them down and kill them in Minecraft.
I mean, and it's so funny because it finally just shit the bed. 10 minutes of the movie's left, right? 12, whatever, is nothing. We got so fucking close. I don't even remember. So basically, we're at this fucking lame fucking Home Alone ending where he does this thing where he outsmarts the bad guys, and now she's riding the sexy horse. And
I think this is the reason everybody remembers the movie.
That's it. This is the meme, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're eating phallic foods while watching her.
Fucking corn dogs are dank.
They are, man. I haven't eaten them in years, but they're so fucking good. What about those breakfast corn dogs where it's a sausage and a pancake?
That's fucking dank.
And syrup, man. Those are so fucking good. And once again, haven't had this shit since I was a kid, but they would hit the spot.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to always eat the freaking corn dog. I'd eat the corny exterior first and then the dog.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Now I don't know why I did that because that's just stupid.
I don't either. It is.
You got to have the complete package, all of it together, man. But
hot dog on a stick is dank.
No, but now I've been craving it, and it's so funny because I've been thinking about this for a while because my lady's been on a corn dog kick, and she eats like a little kid. She can eat all that frozen food and shit like that. I can't.
Mini corn dogs are donk.
Oh yeah, I was telling her about the breakfast corn dogs like we were just talking about, and she's never had it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? They're so good. So
Did you divorce her right there?
It's been on my mind for the last week, and I'm craving it, man. And I'm thinking the first day I feel like I can reward myself once I get exactly where I want to be, in shape wise. I'm gonna fucking eat a box of those, man.
Fuck yes, donk. I've been doing my fucking since I got back down. I've been doing my usual my cheat days, but I've been doing it different this time. Whereas before, I would just let that day, be my day, and then fucking went over, that was fine. But like now I have a cheat day, but then I still make sure my weekly budget gets down. So if I have a big cheat day, I'll fucking the next day I'll do
less.
your thing. I'll do your thing. I'll fast, which is really just starving yourself.
Yeah.
You got to call it fast because it makes it sound nicer.
No, dude, fasting for a day or two is totally fine. It cleanses your system. We can fucking do that. No, 100%. And it's easy when you start doing the cheat day shit to get carried away with that. So it's like you just kind of have to lay it out like rules you have for yourself. And once you're conditioned.
You want to know what my last cheat day was? It was fucking donk.
Joe's Pizza.
Joe's Pizza and an entire box of fucking Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Donk.
That's a lot, man.
I cummed.
You probably don't even want to think about how many calories that was. But
no, I know how many it was. I had to fucking work the rest of it off the rest of the week.
How many calories was the whole box of cereal?
Oh, I forgot. I have to look.
How much was it with the pizza and everything? Do you remember the grand total number?
I can look real quick.
Do it. It has to have been like 5,000 calories.
The whole day, it was 7,917 calories.
Damn. So
no, wait, no, the whole day it says 9,076 calories.
And right now, that's like way more than I'm eating in an entire week right now. But
I'm right now I'm over 1,449 for the whole week. So all I gotta do is do the fucking bike 3 times, 30 minutes, maybe 4 times.
Well, there you go. And the big key, though, is to just weigh yourself every week. And that's once I get 100% where I feel like I want to be, I'm just going to be better about weighing myself every week and not get too comfortable. Because if you do that, you start noticing, oh, God, I went like 2 pounds north, 5 pounds north. And it's easy for you to turn that back. I mean, it'd be more conscious. And I don't want to get carried away where I have those kind of cheat days. I want to keep weighing myself every week. And then if I have a cheat day, I don't know, a cheat day I think should be like double what I normally eat. And then, yeah, maybe I'll fast the next day, like just not eat for 24 hours to kind of offset it. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway,
it ain't what it ain't.
It ain't what it ain't.
Uh-oh. Aaron's cutting out. Is it his mic or is it my internet? Who knows? Here we go. Great. You there? I can't hear you if you're talking. We just had to resync again. This time it was Aaron's fault. He set his drink down and it shorted his mic. He needs to fix that fucking cord. This movie's going to be the death of us. This is like the worst experience watching a movie. I'm never going to watch it again. I'm going to fucking, every time I think of this movie, I'm going to remember this awful experience.
Why didn't they talk about this movie in that Cursed Films documentary? Because clearly it is. It's cursed.
It is. We need to make our own Cursed Films documentary series. Mm-hmm. Fucking Alien 3, this movie.
Alien 3 almost broke up the band. So this movie, just because it's just, bringing us to our wits' end. What else?
We had to do Alien 3 twice. The whole movie. Or what? No, we did the first half. We were like, we're going to split it into 2 halves because it's so long. We did the first half. Fucking Aaron's recording didn't go. Like something happened to it. Had to redo the first half. We felt like we watched the movie like 80 times by the time we were done.
And I feel like we have to throw in Halloween 5 in there.
Well, that one was just amazing.
Because that one was... And I can't remember. Did we end up posting that or not? I always forget.
We did.
We did? Yeah. But yeah, so... Yeah, we need to make our own playlist, the cursed films.
Yeah, so they were basically able to thwart the fucking stupid robbers by like, oh yeah, she's gonna like pretend like she's gonna run away with them. They fell for it. Stupid. But that's Dermot Mulroney. I'd suck his dick.
I mean, it's such a fucking lame and half-baked fucking ending. It's so stupid. Like, these guys are really thinking with it. What, they think they're both gonna fuck her?
Amazing.
It's dumb.
He gets the tits, the other gets the ass.
I was watching...
That's how you do it.
I was watching that movie Freaked at the theater yesterday. You know that movie, Vince Vaughn?
Oh,
or Freaky. Freaky. I'm sorry, Freaked is Alex Winter. Freaky. You know what I'm talking about, though? That Blumhouse movie?
Mm-hmm. That actually went to theaters?
Yep. It's on theaters, and it doesn't go to on demand till like 2 weeks from now. So it actually got a little bit of exclusive.
We are having the biggest spike ever. Like, they just want more people to die.
Well, the theaters are empty. I mean, like, fucking, I was the only people. It's actually safer. It's like there's nobody in the fucking theaters. But anyway, I saw that, and it's typical Blumhouse fare in the sense that like it's like Happy Death Day where they're just blending a couple of genres, right?
You know what I found out recently? Remember how we were shitting on the fact that Blumhouse always does that stupid shit? Where like the character looks through the paper or goes to the library and looks up, finds out the backstory of the killer. I heard recently that fucking Blum, whatever his name is,
Jason Blum,
he won't greenlight your movie unless you do one of those scenes, unless you do a backstory fucking reveal scene in it.
Really?
Yeah, what a fucking beta.
Is it because he's trying to live up to the tropes? Because that's what Blumhouse movies are. It's almost, they embrace the tropes.
He's probably one of those fucking idiots that are like, we can't let people not know. We can't fucking, like, oh, people don't like not knowing. Like these stupid people, they're like, whenever that remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, they were like, I want to know how that guy without legs lost his legs. Make a fucking prequel and tell us.
Yeah, I don't...
Look at that. That shotgun made 2 huge holes like that.
Perfect holes, yeah.
And if you notice, he loaded 2 shells in there and he just kept shooting without having to reload.
Yeah, it's dumb. But no, so, yeah, I don't know. That's almost become their thing. It's like, watch Happy Death Day. All they did was take a slasher and mix it with Groundhog Day, right? And like, oh, we got an original idea, but not really. And it's got all these cliche tropes, but it's like, they're kind of self-aware, so you kind of, I guess people give them a pass because of it. But if they weren't so self-aware, then people would probably just shit on it, right? So it's kind of weird. And Freaky's the same way. I was watching it the whole time, and I'm like, man, if this is like their thing. So it's like, am I supposed to dock them for being cliche and trope ridden? It's kind of like a weird free pass they get. Is like, is that cheap or not? Like, hey, we can just fill our script with nothing but fucking cliched tropes, and no one can say anything about it because, you know, we're self-aware, bro. But they made a slasher and they mixed it with Freaky Friday. It's no different than Happy Death Day. They just mixed it with another big movie that spawned its own little subgenre. But it is fun. Vince Vaughn's fun in it. It's fun. It's got little nods all throughout. It's like Halloween and Friday the 13th. Like even Vince Vaughn kind of looks like Jason a little bit, like at first. And, you know, he does like the stabbing through the wall trope, Michael Myers, and he tilts his head. There's there's like a football scene, high school football scene. I noticed on a couple backs of the uniforms, there was some names like Strode and shit. I'm sure that was intentional. It was fun, but yeah, there's one scene that reminded me of what you said, Two Holes. It's like they lead the girl down an alleyway who Vince Vaughn has switched places with, so it's really Vince Vaughn inside this teenage girl's body. And this football player leads her down an alley, and there's two other football players, and he's like, well, I count 3 guys, and you got 3 holes. And they're going to fucking triple stuff him.
Jim Wood. He rules Hollywood now.
I don't understand. Dumb ending. I don't get it.
Amazing ending.
What's the message here? That the slacker comes out on top?
It does, yeah, exactly.
The slacker doesn't work harder, and I don't understand. Like what?
The slacker always wins. As long as you don't care enough, you'll never be let down.
It doesn't make sense. So this guy was probably the worst role model ever in that regard, but he gets the hot chick, and he thwarts a bust, and he ends up in Hollywood, and I guess really successful by what?
Exactly. That's the fucking best message ever.
You know, I think I don't like this. I think I like this movie less after I sat on it a little longer. Like
you sat on it until you came?
I sat on it till I came. I sat on it till I came to my senses.
I like it more with that ending and the message.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna read a few comments real quick, but let's see. The movie was just whatever.
This movie we did this movie over a period of 2 days, and it was just an okay movie.
All right. Yeah, so let me go ahead and pull up some questions. Zach, entertain the audience while I get them set up here.
Audience, what have you been up to, audience? You know, I was driving back from getting groceries earlier, and I was thinking like an ultimatum popped in my head, and it's interesting. Would you rather them completely get fucking rid of CGI and only do, practical effects again, or CGI so good that it's photorealistic? What would you pick?
What?
CGI so good that it's photorealistic or practical effects from now on? That's a tough one.
I mean, the thing is, yeah, it's CGI is not in its nature a bad thing. It's just how people abuse it and treat it. And I think you can have some really good CGI specialists, right? Where you can have that shit baked in pre-production and you know what's going to happen and you have your guy. But I think a lot of times you see these really shitty CGI implantations, and it's like literally someone just goes to them with a finished product and hires somebody outsourced and be like, hey, we need CGI right here. You know, and it just, you know what I mean? And it looks like a paste job.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I think if you get a professional and they're working with you during the production, I mean, I think it could be done right. But whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's stupid.
He worked at an animal shelter in the beginning of this movie. There were animal wranglers in the movie that had to work with those animals. I was thinking about getting a job at the animal shelter, but then I was like, man, I would be depressed having to put dogs down all the time and shit. That'd bum me out.
Well, I'm gonna read some questions here real quick, and you know what? The last question here that we liked. That's how we mark the ones we know we read. I don't remember reading this, so I don't know if we liked it on accident, but I'm gonna read it just in case because I don't recall it. On RoboCop 2, the BTM commentary, Christopher Tregena, he said, this channel and featured channels are fucking amazing. You guys have an awesome chemistry. Have been having a blast listening to you. Instead of Valverde, who we had pitched, doing a collaboration with, but they don't return my tweets, you should get together with the Bro Force Squad. You'll get on well.
Oh,
Do you know have you heard of the Bro Force Squad?
I haven't.
All right.
But this guy's comment is dank AF. I hope we didn't fucking ruin our chemistry doing this episode.
What if he's
having to fucking retry every time?
Christopher, are you part of the Bro Force Squad? No, we'll look it up. And I'm all about collaborating with new people and making new friends. So I'm actually going to Google them. And
I'm not. I like fucking sticking to myself.
We fear change.
Yeah. I'm joking.
Well, I'll look them up and I'll see what they're about. I mean, if they're, as long as they're not a bunch of white supremacists, I mean, you know, whatever. Maybe I'll hit them up.
Oh, that'd be fucking hilarious if we get them on the show and fucking talk down to them.
It's like when Howard Stern would have his roast and he would invite Daniel Carver, the original, like he used to be a Grand Dragon in the KKK.
See, that's how you know they're fucking stupid. They call themselves Grand, like what LARPy bullshit, Grand Dragon.
I mean, that's an Asian creature, mythological creature.
That's so fucking lame. Like, what are you playing, D&D?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Let's see here. On The Crow. Okay, this is the one we put out last week, guys, and The Crow turned out really fun. And I think we got some pretty cool feedback on it. So maybe Zach, one of these days, will turn a corner and want to do the rest of the Crow movies. Maybe not. I don't know. On The Crow, Batman Dark Knight. Batman himself has commented on it. He says, quote, suddenly I heard a tapping as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. You heard me rapping, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wrong Crow. But it's a picture of Michael Keaton Batman, so you get a pass. Witch King simply quoted what I'm assuming is his favorite part of the commentary, Macaulay Culkin.
Hell yes.
I knew that was going to be very quotable. That's a t-shirt right there. You could have the...
Really? Like, I think I've said that before.
You could,
like, I know I've said that at least when I was real young.
You could have the Macaulay Culkin Home Alone face on a shirt with a cock involved with that open mouth somehow.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The Crow as well. Carlos Arjan. He says, so I'm actually a recent fan of The Crow. He says, sorry, I kept suggesting it. So I guess it was his pick. But I loved the origin as to why J. Barr wrote The Crow. He wrote the comic as a way of coping with the death of his fiance, who tragically died in a car crash. Anyways, I still think a Rambo exploitation would be amazing. I'm very interested to hear you guys discuss the franchise in its entirety, from the shitty on-rail shooter to the kids' cartoon. Either way, dope commentary as always.
Dope, like that band Dope.
Die, motherfucker, die. I'm down. I'm never gonna like not vote for a Rambo exploitation. I don't know if, I mean, either exploitation would be like a whole month of Rambo. I don't know if Zach would have a part of that or not, but I would love to do it. But I could see it as a cinema enema choice where we talk about, because you mentioned the cartoon and all kinds of shit. So if we wanted to really kind of go over all that extra stuff, maybe that's a cinema enema, you know, kind of go over the history of Rambo and just what happened to him with pop culture, how he kind of became, you know, it was a dramatic piece and they turned him into this weird greased up fucking 80s icon where everything was bigger and better and he had toys. And
then it became a game. They turned into this weird greased up fucking mongoloid looking idiot. Oh, wait, you know what you know what I heard recently? The term mongoloid was originally like a racist term. That's fucking
like for
weird.
Mongols?
I guess so, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Which is weird because it's like now it just means like disfigured or something.
Interesting. Carlos, I have to hurry up and pick a cinema enema choice. So maybe I might dance with this, but I gotta figure out my cinema enema choice here in the next week, just to kind of let you know. And we got to start figuring that out. But I don't know. I think it'd be a good cinema enema too. So I'm going to stew on that. Thanks, dude. Let's see. Retro Rampage. This is an old Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening HD collection playthrough,
where we first talked about my friend that fucks his sister.
Thus the comment, well, this machine kills, says, after hearing countless mentions of Zach's infamous friend who really loves his dog and sister, I decided to seek this classic out and give it a full listen. And holy shit, if it wasn't already fucked up enough, I didn't think they would be that young too. Zach, if this guy ever comes after you, just convince him you gained a ton of weight and change your name to Corey G. Problem solved. Speaking of G, Corey G is on Instagram now.
I saw that.
I know you shared it. Oh
boy,
there you go.
And his tag is the real Corey G. What's he implying? Does he know I exist? I'm the fake Corey G. I took his gimmick.
That's so funny. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. The real Corey G. Let's see. Thanks. Well, this machine kills. Hopefully Zach gives us more. You need to meet more incestuous fucking.
See, is it more fucked up that he was like that young, or would it have been more fucked up if they were like 20? Like, I can't tell. Like, it's very fucked up if they were kids.
Good
Like,
point.
if they were 20, yeah.
Good point. Well, were they weren't young to the point where they don't know better. They were still old enough to where they should have known better, right?
9 and 10, yeah.
I would think you'd know better not to fuck your sister at 9 or 10. I think you'd know not to fuck. I didn't want to fuck a dog at 9 or 10. That's just me.
Maybe he was like, oh no, you're just, you can, you just don't nut. Because then you get a fucking mongoloid baby.
Get the preggies. Did his dad Play-Doh with him or something? Did they get fucked around in the head?
I don't fucking know. I'm not going to speculate.
That's weird, man. Anyway, more Crow goodness, man. Crow had a lot of feedback here. Maxwell Unash, he says, The Crow, Darkman, even The Shadow. They're all good movies in their own right, but they're a little too derivative of Tim Burton's Batman. The Michael Jackson musical would have probably been more my speed. Excellent show as always. You should do Threads for Cinema Enema.
Threads?
You seen Threads, Zach?
No.
I haven't either.
Never heard of it.
I haven't either. So I'm going to bookmark this right now. And since Zach or I, neither one of us has seen it, maybe that'll be a nice off episode where we do, because that's kind of exciting too.
I thought you were going to call me Zachariah.
Zachariah. I knew a Play-Doher by the name of Zachariah.
Figures. That's a terrible fucking name for a human being.
His name was Zechariah, with an E. Zekecech. Zechariah.
Amazing.
And he was my best friend in 7th grade, and he's the one that we bonded over Metallica. Go figure. Don't make any associative jokes. Don't make any association jokes with that. And anyway, he introduced me to my second favorite band, arguably, which is Dire Straits, and he lent me his copy of Brothers in Arms. And so when I listen to that record, I still think of him. And we played Ocarina of Time together. We were obsessed with Zelda and stuff like that. And
Dude,
I remember
Brothers in Arms. He was trying to fucking get it through your head, be a petty with me. Be a petty with me.
Yeah. And I remember me getting Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time after him, and me calling his house all the time to help. Hey, I remember I called his house and he had to walk me through the water temple because it was so confusing. And I remember he was homesick that week and he answered the phone. He was just walking me through it. And
were you younger than him?
We were the same grade, 7th grade.
I was going to say, what?
He wasn't grooming me. Grooming me. Yeah. I wasn't hanging out with a fucking 30-year-old. My friend.
Well, you're just playing fucking Zelda one day and he's like, Link, he's probably pretty young in this game. What do you think he looks like naked?
Yeah, so this guy Zechariah is just hanging out at all the game stores when watching kids play the model games. That's fucking stupid. No, but yeah, it was 3 or 4 years ago. Riverman and I both went to high school and in middle school with them, and I wasn't really friends with them after 7th grade because we ended up getting different. In high school you get separated, you go in different classes and whatever, you meet different people. But we were always cool. I'd run into him from time to time, every time I'd visit Riverman back in Nebraska. And we'd always run into him at concerts because whenever I'd go home there to visit, we'd always catch a show or something. And he was at every show. And he played in the local scene and stuff and was in bands. And he was a really good guitar player. Hold on, my dog is fucking going nuts.
You think he used his influence as a band guy to Play-Doh file some kids?
Oh, yeah, maybe. A Trip Ison, the guy from Static X.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what he would do. Well, he was just a local guy. I mean, he didn't really have any pull, I wouldn't think. But anyway, last time I saw him physically was, I want to say, back in the Lush days.
Oh, yeah.
When Lush was still doing the podcast and stuff like that. We ran into him at a show and, said our highs and what's up and stuff like that. And, friends on socials and stuff like that. But yeah, man, 4 years ago or so, Riverman shared me the news bit where he got busted in a pedophilia sting.
Amazing.
And he had 10,000 fucking videos and shit. He got busted for possession and distributing child porn. And that's kind of a vague term. Was he just sharing it in a network with a network of pedos, or was he actually producing it? Who fucking knows? I don't know, but that mugshot is burned in my fucking brain because all I do is see that guy that we just talked about, Dire Straits, Metallica, and fucking Zelda, and he just got this look in his face where he's not smiling, but he's also not depressed looking. He's kind of got this look in his face I'm fucked. He's
got this look in his face that says, hide your kids.
No, because his eyes are a little glazed over. He looks like they pulled him out of bed or something. He's well, I'm fucked. I'm done. But anyway, exactly. Yeah, we no longer associate with him. But we
should get him on the show.
But it's obviously a sexual orientation, right? I mean, he's for equal rights, right? Sexual orientation.
Amazing.
That's what they're trying. That's what they're trying to preach. Well, I can forward. You guys can watch some TED Talks on it. But anyway, regardless. Okay, Maxwell Unash, thank you so much for your comment on the Crow and Darkman and Shadow. Yeah, I can see that. I think they all are derivative in the sense that Tim Burton's Batman brought comic movies into sort of the mainstream again and made them popular. And, people give him credit for popularizing modern day comic adaptation. And yeah, they were all kind of dark and gothic in tone. So there probably was something to that. And we're gonna look at Threads. I'm gonna check it out and see if it's something. We'll run it by Zach and we'll see if it's something we should do because I'm kind of down with the idea of doing something we both don't know. All right, and then Gio Kalunga, he says on the Crow, great podcast, boys. You guys ever tried barbecue sauce on a hot dog? Dank shit.
Hell yeah.
Have you really? I've never tried that.
I haven't, but it could be good.
I don't see why it would be bad. Like I said, I mean, you can imagine.
Well, buffalo sauce.
I don't see why it'd be bad. I think ranch, buffalo sauce, barbecue sauce, all this shit is like universal, man. I don't think it's going to be nasty on anything. You ever put like coleslaw on your dog, a slaw dog? You like that?
Never.
That's so good, man. Nothing actually, I forgot to say that earlier, but chili, I'll take a little chili, man. I'll take a little ketchup, mustard, and slaw. Chili and slaw? Fuck yeah. And
wolf
me,
chili right out of Barbara Crampton's ass.
There you go. On the Crow, James L., formerly known as Oliver Closeoff. I'll stop saying that eventually. But James L., he says, happy Friday the 13th to all of you sick, twisted freaks. Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Thanks so much for all your support, and happy Friday the 13th to you as well.
This Friday the 13th snuck up on me. I fucking didn't know what was happening until the day before. Everybody go listen to the Goats fucking Friday the 13th Part 2 commentary. It's donk.
A Serbian film. BTM commentary. Flyboy Steven said, another celebrity, Flyboy himself is here. He says, big news. The American distribution company Unearthed Films has announced the upcoming release of the uncut version of a Serbian film on Blu-ray available January 19, 2021.
Oh,
fantastic.
Amazing. That's uncut too. It's uncircumcised.
Fantastic.
I might get it just so that I can rip it and we can do a fucking one of those fucking commentary highlight videos.
Not for me, friends. Not for me. And you know what? We're just going to we got so much shit on the Crow. I'm just going to read Crow and we'll call it a day because we got 3 more big ones.
You're going to eat Crow.
I'm going to eat some fucking Crow. Adrian Mendoza, he says, too bad you don't like this film, Aaron. I'm a fan of the film. I saw it when I was around 13 at the theater, so I guess it's nostalgia. Dark City is a superior film, and I highly recommend checking it out. The Warriors is great. Zach is right. Do not watch the updated version. I'm still waiting for Yeah, Fuck the Dumb Shit Volume 2 featuring Aaron. Wait, Static X is dead? I guess he didn't know. Yeah, Static X died quite a handful of years ago. He's been dead a little bit.
What's worse, being a band that puts out an album and people are like, I didn't even know they were still around, or being the band that like, I didn't even know they died?
Yeah, I don't know. He makes a timestamp at 1 hour, 31 minutes and 22 seconds. And he says, I'm worried about Zach. It seems like he's stroking out. What? I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah. Alien Resurrection is great, he says, and it would be a great cinema enema. I liked hearing about Aaron's bumhole and hemorrhoid. I also have a hemorrhoid, he says. When I was purchasing a bottle of hemorrhoid ointment, the teller ringing up my purchase told me that particular brand was terrible and began to tell me about his hemorrhoid. He told me that his exploded. I didn't know what to say, and I just listened. I did not ask how that could happen, but by his mannerisms and voice, I determined that he was a homosexual and that his hemorrhoid exploded during sex. David Capper will be great in the next installment.
That'd be that'd be a great fucking orgasm. Like your hemorrhoid explodes right as you come.
That's so fucking. I'm getting disgusted just visualizing it all. He says David Capper would be great in the next installment of The Crow. I could see Capper donning mime makeup, shredding his axe, and traversing the mean streets of Vancouver seeking revenge on the men who killed his beloved Shelby.
Oh yes,
I thought it was Shelley. Is it Shelby or Shelley? I'm pretty sure it's
Shelley.
Yeah,
Shelley.
But yeah, Capper could do it. Anybody with a ponytail can do it. Long hair. He's got a guitar.
Did I show you guys my new kink? You and Mac, I posted there's this new, I found this new kink where it's like a fucking, what's it called? What's that called? Where you, seizure induced orgasm.
Yeah.
That's my new kink. That's amazing.
Interesting.
I've seen videos.
I bet. David Capper, speaking of the man himself, he comments on The Crow. Great show as always. I like remembering The Crow more than I do rewatching it though. I have a high school memory of it being so cool and just want to hang on to that. I tried to rewatch it a while back and it just wasn't working for me. I'll keep my chit chat short and sweet as to not dominate this section with another huge rambling comment, or as they're known in Italy, commentita di novella. So, number 1, month-long Jean-Claude Van Damme celebration should be rebranded Van Damme December 2021. This way it'll buy you a buttload of time to hold a few Twitter polls to whittle down the flicks. Well, we had said January, I thought, so that you just actually cost us time, Capper. You want to make it December? We lost time for the poll.
Hell yeah. You know what makes The Crow hold up better, though?
What?
Is it's almost like it's the sequel to the origin story. Or like, we didn't want to do the origin story, so we just started out with him already as the character. It kind of has that going for it.
I got you. Dude, you don't have to. I'll do fucking Van Damme anytime, David. So it's like, JCVD January, fucking Van Damme December. It doesn't matter to me. I think Zach and I, let's compile a little list of Christmas type movies you'd like to tackle. And if we got a strong list for the holidays, I think we'll probably keep to that for the holidays. But I'm all about at least Van Damme, JCVD January. I mean, but eventually we're going to run out of Christmas movies, you know? I mean, it seems like they're putting them out less and less. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, number 2, he says, thanks to the merger with Pornhub, Shannon Rebels, and Netflix, Cumload Films has a green light on the 3rd installment of the BTM cinematic universe. Unfortunately, this time it's straight to Redbox, and due to dwindling box office returns, we will not see any original cast members returning. It focuses on Aaron and Zach's cousins from South Alabama, Coy and Vance's adventures to a horror convention in Tokyo to do a live stream. It's called The Comment Section, Bukkake Drift.
Oh, yes.
That's pretty funny. Josh and Riverman have already distanced themselves creatively from the project, quote unquote.
Wouldn't that be funny if there was a movie where the whole movie was played straight, like it's not comedic at all, like it's a serious drama film or like a horror movie slasher or something, and then just out of nowhere at the end, they they're trying to get away from the killer, and the guy running away starts jacking off and jizzes on the ground, and then he slips in it, and that's how he gets away. And then they just play it straight. That'd be amazing.
The whole movie's like a big troll. They kind of are doing that though, man. You see that new Mel Gibson movie that feels like it's a giant fucking SNL skit, but it's serious? That Fat Man, where he plays the vigilante Santa?
I haven't.
There's a trailer out there. It's called Fat Man, and basically it's a gritty Santa movie, and he plays gritty Santa, and he's, there's a lot of naughty children out there. And it's guns and shit, and someone's hiring Santa to fucking take a bunch of people out. It's like, and it's playing it totally straight. Like he's some war mercenary.
Amazing.
And it almost seems like an SNL skit, but they're playing it so straight. And I don't know, it looks intriguing to me. And I remember I shared it with my brother, and I think my brother texted me back. He just said, Mel Gibson just doesn't give a shit anymore, does he? And it's funny because post all his scandal and shit, he really doesn't. He's like, I'll fucking do a movie like this. Why not? It'll be fun. I don't know.
Amazing.
But that's a Christmas movie we could always add to the list. I think that comes out video on demand this for the holiday season. So maybe we should do Fat Man. We should check it out. Maybe it'll be a cinema enema. Anyway, no, he closes out by saying, and the joke on Josh and Riverman's funny. They've already distanced themselves creatively from the project. Todd just would not have the time. Zach is in talks to be executive producer / fluffer, he says. D. Zach wouldn't have any other way.
Oh, yeah. See, we were talking about bad jobs. That was one of my worst jobs, was being like the fluffer. But I did get promoted to like the fucking young buck that just fucking stood there and all the chicks blew me and all that. Like, you never saw my face, though.
Is that the term young buck?
Yeah.
Like the faceless cock?
Thought of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Zach used to be a fluffer pro boner. He didn't need to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Exactly.
Last comment I'm going to read on the Crow. Purple Hexagon Sun says, another great podcast from you guys as usual, but I have to disagree with the Line 6 spider bashing. I had a Spider 4 120 for a bunch of years, and it was a great for bedroom use and more than worthy for any beginner to intermediate player. And with all the presets, it's very simple to use. My only jab with it is that it could sound a little digital at times. And when it was time to upgrade, I got a Black Star, which blew me away the first time I turned it up to 3. LOL. Once you go Valve, you never go back, he says. He says, LOL. Question, though, and this is a good question, Zach. I recently got my dream guitar, which is a Dean from Hell, a custom relic, and I've heard you guys talk a bunch about guitars. What are some of your favorite guitar brands, and what have you guys owned over the years? Mine would be Jackson, Ibanez, and ESP. Keep up the great work, guys. Huge fan after finding you guys about 3 years ago. P.S. You guys got to do Day of the Dead soon. All right, man. Thanks, Purple Hexagon Sun. So this is yet another closeted fan that is finally brave enough to proclaim his love for us and comment. So we have a lot of you closeted fans out there that are listening and not commenting. So I know there's a lot of you guys, and it always warms up my soul when we get a new comment like this. But Zach, that's a good question. It's a fun question.
Black Star, I heard they do really good solid state amps that sound like tube amps too. Is that the one that does it?
Well, I don't know. I think there's a couple of companies that do. There's companies that do hybrids. They'll be powered by one power tube, but they'll be modular too. So, and those actually sound pretty good. I know a lot of people are just going straight to fractal audio now and doing all that shit, and everything's going modular. But for me, guitar wise, I can take you through everything. The first guitar I ever had was a Strat copy, a black Strat copy by some shitty fucking no-name brand called Memphis that my mom bought me at a pawn shop, probably for like $50. I don't even know. And then my dad pawned it for drugs after my first guitar lesson. Fun times. Fun times. And then
fuck me,
because all I wanted was a guitar. I just wanted to play guitar so bad. And which is funny enough to make it even worse. The only reason I really wanted to play guitar is so I could impress my dad and he would actually approve of me once in my life. And not only did he not, he took the fucking thing and he pawned it for drugs. Anyway, so
what'd you do when you found out?
I was very sad. I don't even remember. I was sad. I think I've told you a story on Cinemanima. That was my turning point where I said, fuck you, Dad.
Did you ever wait till he came home loaded to where he's like, he's not going to remember it and just beat the shit out of him? And then he wakes up the next day covered in bruises. You're like, I don't know. You were fucking stumbling all over the house. You did it to yourself.
Dude, I was working really hard just to learn the very first bar of one of his favorite riffs. It literally could have been just fucking Smoke on Water, fucking Enter Sandman, or Breaking the Law. I was just playing one riff, and I was like, maybe if I play it loud enough, he'll walk by and he'll recognize it, and he'll pay me attention. He'll give me some kind of approval, and fucking that's all I did with it. And then you know what? He needs money, so what does he pawn? My guitar?
Yeah, he told the story too. Like he walks by, hears you playing the guitar, and goes, "How lame!" What does he do? What does he say?
Oh, so I left the door. I left the door open on purpose because I had been practicing like the intro to Enter Sandman, right? I know you're gonna make fun of that, but just like the same.
I thought it was Crazy Train.
No, I don't know. That wasn't. It was definitely Enter Sandman. But anyway, it was just the same part over and over again. Dun 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 dun. It didn't really go anywhere. That's all I could play. And I left the door open on purpose because I knew eventually he would walk to his bedroom, like, okay, he'll hear me. And he'll pop his head in and say some words of encouragement. And he'd come.
Oh my God, son, that's so fucking dank. Let's fucking hug it out. Let's go to the movie. Let's get ice cream. Fuck yeah.
We're going to we're going to toss around the pigskin.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, he comes in total fucking backfire. And he's just like, hey, fucking turn that shit down. Like, what, you think you're a fucking rock star, dude? Oh, you think you're so fucking cool? He fucking does that whole like Captain Spaulding thing to me. Right? And he's like mocking me, like doing like an Angus Young thing, like playing air guitar. You think you're fucking rock star? You think you're so fucking cool? Doing that shit.
You should have been like, you know what, fuck you. I'm fed up with you. I'm not as good as you. Fuck no, I'm better than you. You know what, fuck you. I'm fed up with you. He should just start playing it. And then that would have really showed him. It would have been like fucking that scene in the movies where you fucking, screw you, Dad. I'm fucking taking over now. And he would have been cowering in the corner.
Well,
been like, I'm going to let you do whatever you want, son. Don't worry.
It's probably my fault. At the time, that hurt my feelings, and it was my big turning point where I was like, you know what? Why am I trying to impress this guy? Fuck you, Dad. Because I'm just, and so, but really, it's my fault because the whole time it was probably just like a staged Twisted Sister video, and that was my line to say I want to rock.
Exactly.
And then I was supposed to start rocking out and shit. He was that dad that just didn't understand the fucking kid, and I blew it big time. But no, anyway, he was an asshole. But anyway,
did it sound like Enter Sandman, or was it like
it was? Well, there's no muting in that opening line, right? And it's just one chord position. You just have your two you don't move them, don't, and you move your like your
but when you first pick up a guitar, sometimes it's hard to even push down hard enough, and it's just like
You don't understand. I had been practicing it for like a week straight. I had that part down. Just dun, 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 dun. That's it. It was just over and over again that. I didn't even like go into the tail of it. But it was enough to where he should have recognized it. You know, it's just like smoke on the water. You know, you learn.
You should have called him out for not fucking recognizing. Hey, noob. This is like your favorite song.
No. Oh, I don't even know if that was his favorite song. I just knew he'd recognize it and he likes Metallica. But anyway, regardless. So that was gone. And then I didn't give up. Then I wanted to keep playing guitar because I just wanted to fucking show. I wanted to be that guy, right? Now I just want to be fuck you. I'm fed up with you. I want to be better than you. So I remember I didn't have a guitar. And then Todd had an old beat up guitar. I think like his dad or something got in Mexico, like an old nylon string. And I bought it from him for $5. And I'm like, well, I need something to practice on. This is like the next year. And so I played on this fucking thing all school year, this old beat up Mexican nylon string guitar. Like the three low strings were all steel, but they were like rusted. And the high strings were all nylon. And it was, dude, the fucking action on this thing was unreal. Those things were like an inch off the fucking neck. I don't even know how I fucking did anything on this, but maybe that's one of the ways that you get good, I guess. And then I saved up and I got a guitar. I got another guitar and it was a pawn shop guitar. It was Washburn and it was a Nuno Betancourt model. And you could tell it was very much an intro model, right? Of his, it was probably retailed for like $500 back when it was new. But it was light years ahead of that piece of shit Mexican guitar I was playing. It was like a dream. I felt like I was playing a Les Paul, right? It was just like, oh, this thing is so fucking rad. I was so proud of it. And it had a slick, like blood red, like just one tone on the body. It wasn't like a cherry red. It was like a blood red and didn't have a matching headstock. It was just the wood finish, which was beautiful to me. And it wasn't unlike a Fender finish. And it was so cool. And I was really proud of it. I liked it. That was Washburn. It wasn't Memphis or like some no brand on the fucking Mexican guitar. It actually said Washburn, which of course at the time, Dimebag Darrell, he was the guy that kept Washburn a name. So I'm like, this is fucking cool. I don't know who this Nuno Betancourt guy is. I mean, now I know he's an Extreme, but so I love that thing. And I learned a lot over like a couple of years on that. And then when I was 16, this is when I was working that shitty job, right? The Italian restaurant that I was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. I saved up money and I bought a BC Rich. Now, when you're a kid, you kind of choose what you buy when you're still kind of like learning about different shit based off aesthetics on who plays what, right? Or I recognize this or I recognize that brand. And I was a huge fan of Slayer ever since I was like in middle school. And so Kerry King always played, he had a period where he was playing ESPs, but in the 90s. But other than that, he was a BC Rich Warlock guy and he played those Warlocks, right? And they look ultra metal and they're, they got the horns and shit and the devil horn headstock. And so I bought and it was an upgrade for me. It was like a $800 Korean made, right? BC Rich Warlock. And, $800 Korean made, it's a bolt on neck and it's got, it cuts its cost where it has to, but it was awesome because it was beautiful to me. It was glossy, man, that glossy black finish. And I don't remember the scale of it, but the scale was, it seemed like it was much longer than I was used to. The headstock at the time was metal as fuck, man. That's what I was really into. And I had a fucking Floyd Rose for the first time, which that was really fucking crazy going from a fixed bridge to a Floyd Rose, the floating tremolo. And I am like, I didn't know how to change the strings on it. I had to kind of figure that shit out. And I felt like every time I tried changing strings on it, I would learn something new about it, or I'd fuck up the intonation. I'd fuck up with the alignment. Some shit would go wrong, but it was a big pain in the ass. But for the first time ever, I had a whammy bar and I could try and do and it was on this guitar. And I took the first thing I did when I bought this guitar was I took out the stock shitty BC Rich pickups and I put in EMGs. And once again, I didn't have all the experience in the world with a bunch of different pickups. I just knew that that was the metal standard. Everybody was playing EMGs for some reason back then, and even now. But I just kind of followed suit. I'm like, well, I know this is tried and true because these people use them. So I bought a pair of EMGs. I think I bought an 81 for the fucking, it might've been two 81s. I'm not sure, but I know I just really was a bridge pickup guy and it was an 81. Anyway, And for the first time ever, man, I had the gain, I had the whammy bar. I started learning how to do fucking harmonics because I had that, dive bombs. So I actually learned a lot by having that guitar and having the tools it offered. And that was an upgrade. Then after that, though, I bought a second guitar, which, by the way, that guitar taught me, oh, wait, if you're at all serious enough about your instrument that you think you're going to stick with it, don't waste any money like buying like middle of the road instruments. Like, I think for your first instrument, buy something cheaper. There's no reason to go blow your wad on something you don't know if you're going to like love. But if you know you're loving it, get something that you like to a certain quality level. And you don't have to get a $4,000 guitar. You can get a very good quality guitar for $1,000.
See, I don't have a lot of experience with different guitars because, like, yeah, the first guitar I got was like my dad went to Walmart and got me one of those ones.
First Act.
Yeah, First Act. And then whenever I got better, I ended up getting like the Sheena First Act. And then by that time, like a bunch of bands I really liked were using that guitar. So I was just like, oh, this is good enough. I'll keep it.
Yeah. I mean,
like Converge was using it and stuff.
Well, like, so get whatever guitar you can afford to learn. And then, because the thing is about all those like middle, like level guitars, they don't retain their value. Like, I bought that $800 BC Rich and I sold it a few years later for like $200. So,
I want to get a Telecaster though at some point.
I had a Telecaster briefly. So let me think, where was I? So I still had the BC Rich at the time and I wanted to broaden my palette because I liked a lot of other stuff, not just metal. And so I bought an American made, just like, what's it called? Like Wayne's World, pre-CBS corporate buyout. When they got bought out by this company called CBS, I think they were producing them for 2 years. I think it was like 82, 83 or 83 and 84 only. And I got one of those and I bought them off a friend. It was a beautiful like sunburst. It wasn't a tobacco burst. It was more like a sunburst and it was gorgeous. And that 2 years that they were bought out by that company, CBS, they made a modification. They took away the signature bullet jack for your cable. And it was just a face, like a flat face, plate jack, So it was interesting, but it was an awesome guitar, man. And I bought that for $500. It was gorgeous. And that was the best flip I've ever had. I kind of regret selling it. I kind of wish I still had it because I turned around. I played that bitch for 5 years. And I remember when I bought a guitar that I still have today, I wanted to make some extra money to help pay for it. I fucking flipped it. I sold it for like fucking $1,900.
I got a Fernandez Vertigo, and I got one of the cheaper ones. I wish I would have just waited and saved up for like one of the deluxe kind. They're like 800 or something like that. It came with like the sustain pickup and all that.
Yeah, I loved that Fender, but at the time I wanted to get my custom shop Ernie Ball made, and that was like about $4,000. And so I'm like, fuck, man, for that much profit, yeah, I'll sell this bitch. And I had even damaged it in the time that I'd had it because it was pristine. And I had did I have strap locks? I took the strap locks off and then of course I dropped it. And I think it like fell and hit like a dumbbell I had on the floor and it cracked like a whole bunch of the finish off. And I fucked this thing up and I still got a shit ton of money for it. But anyway, I sold that. I sold the BC Rich too, finally. I sold both of those and then I saved up a bunch of money and I got a custom shop Ernie Ball Music Man. I paid for one of those JP6s and it was awesome. And once again, I always wanted to play Ernie Ball because at this point I was really big into prog rock and all these progressive musicians played, from Steve Morse to John Petrucci, man, like all these people were playing fucking Music Man. And they were very versatile instruments. They introduced things like they have the piezo switch. They could do a lot of shit. And it's kind of like the anti-punk rock guitar where you just want a fucking volume knob and that's it. Right? This has all the bells and whistles. And, you could literally switch and hit that piezo and have an acoustic like flamenco jazz section, or you could have high gain and switch it back to the neck pickup and it just fucking shred. I mean, it could do everything. And so I bought that and I love it. To this day, I still have it. And I love Ernie Ball to this day and they're kind of my brand. I love it because they're real light and they have a very, very thin neck, good for shredding. And I just think it's amazing. I have that, and then what else? I have a Fender Jazzmaster. I had a Fender Jazzmaster that I have humbuckers in. That's pretty awesome. I keep that thing tuned down to B, and sometimes I'll drop the B to an A to have that like redneck tuning, as they call it, that hick tuning. That the Mastodon and shit like that uses that shit a lot. Bands like Baroness and Mastodon. I think it's pretty cool. But that's really my two mains right now. As far as acoustic, I've had various acoustics over the years. If somebody were to say, hey, what's a good for the money acoustic? I would say go for a Epiphone Gibson, Epiphone by Gibson Master Built series. I had one of those for quite a few years. Those are awesome. You can get one of those for like $600 to $800, and they honestly sound, feel, and record just as good as something really high dollar. They're fucking really, really, really good. But I got rid of that, and I now have my current guitar, which is a Taylor, which is really great. And eventually I would like to have a Martin too, just to keep it balanced. A Taylor's nice and bright, and it's good for finger picking. And I like to finger pick a lot. And it's good for leads if you're going to like track and record. Obviously people love Martin because it's warmer, it's folksier, and it's good if you want to strum and sing to it and shit. So whatever. It's kind of cool to have one of each, but that's about where I stand right now. There's a lot of guitars I want. I want a lot of fucking shit. What do I want? Right now I have my eye on two different things, and I'll pass it over to Zach. I would really like a Ernie Ball Cutlass, because I've been like Wayne Campbell. I've been to the local music shop and I've played that a few different times, and I loved it so much. And I went there with a buddy who came to see me, and we went up there together, and I was telling him about it, and he fucking bought one. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I mean, I don't own it, but it was my dream guitar. He bought the exact color and everything I wanted too. I'm like, you motherfucker. But yeah, it's fucking awesome. So I want one of those. And then ever since Eddie Van Halen passed, I've like, man, I kind of want one of those EVH guitars, because I love that fucking drop tune string they have there. And I don't have a guitar currently that has a Floyd Rose anymore, right? I don't have that floating bridge anymore. And I'd like to have something. I'd like to have a guitar and try out an Evertune bridge. That would be fucking cool too. Because that's just something you kind of leave it, set it, forget it. It doesn't go out of tune, but you gotta have, basically, I think you have to be happy with the tuning you're in, and it won't go out of tune. That sounds fucking awesome to me. I want something I can do dive bombs on, but then again, I kind of like the bridge I have on something like the Ernie Ball shit. So I kind of want one of everything. But anyway, Zach, what about you?
I got the Martin that I've talked about on the show, the acoustic. And yeah, I got the, I forget what the fucking, which Martin it is. I forget.
I think there's
I said it so many times now I forgot what it is.
So when I was younger, when I bought like something like that custom Music Man, I was kind of like, oh man, I want all the fucking toys. I was really into like shit and learning. I was consuming knowledge. So I wanted all the gadgets and the piezo's and all this stuff. Then you kind of like, you figure out along the way the stuff you don't use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the older I get, the more stripped down I like too. There's a place for both of them. So that's why I really like my Fender Jazzmaster, because it just has a volume switch.
I have to look on which Martin it is. And then I got, my amp is an Orange Thunderverb 200. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got, baby.
So the really expensive guitars, it's like they have the gloss finish and they're fucking neat and they're all pimped out and all that stuff. That's great and all, but like, I don't know. Those are guitars like you treat like a car. You get upset and if you get your first ding on it, like, oh God, and you got to really keep it clean, like extra clean.
Mm-hmm.
But now I kind of like the beater guitars too, because that's the shit you're paying for. Like when you're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a guitar, you're usually paying for a bunch of aesthetic shit and a couple of features you may or may not even use. But you can get a quality fucking guitar that just is the meat and potatoes, and it sounds great, and it will get the job done for around $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, so my Fender Jazzmaster, it has one volume switch. It doesn't have a fucking tremolo bar, no fucking piezo switch. It's just the volume switch, and it's a matte finish. So it's like, it's kind of built to fuck up and just, get banged and shit. Like if I was a touring musician, you'd want something like that. You don't really want to bring out a $5,000 PRS guitar necessarily. I mean, so I think there's beauty in all of it. So I kind of want to get more shit like that too. I'd like to try and find one of those old school G&L Raptors that I think are out of print, which those were basic back in the day. G&L was an offshoot of Fender.
00015M is the Martin I got.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's a fun topic. I'd like to talk about that more sometime. And I think fucking David Capper should come on the podcast and talk about that shit, right? Because he just seems like he's Yoda. I mean, like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not a gearhead.
I've got a bunch of pedals too, but it's locked up in over there. I'd have to get them all out.
Oh yeah, okay. So we'll go on a little detour. I'll talk about pedals. So that's the same thing. You kind of learn what you don't use and don't like. You kind of like. You go through this period where you want to buy everything because you're just sponging for knowledge. And man, I've had all kinds of fucking. I've had octave pedals. I've had phase pedals. I've had tube screamers, TS9s. I've had a different wall. And you know what? You know what I use?
Ibanez tube screamer's the best thing ever.
The TS9. So I actually sold my TS9.
Beta.
And if I get another amp in the future, I might get another one just to see how it fits and jives with a different amp. But I don't know. I found myself not using it. It gathered dust for a while. But anyway, so
never turn it off.
Here's what I use now. This is the only thing I use. I have a classic Dunlop Crybaby, which by the way, I would like to upgrade that. They have a lot of really cool signature Crybabies that are really cool. Like a lot of those signature models, they each usually offer something really cool. Like I think the Dimebag Darrell one also has a volume pedal too. Like it's got a clicker on the other side. And
I almost got that just because of that.
Yeah, and then there's an Eddie Van Halen one that's supposed to be really good. The Kirk Hammett one's supposed to be really good too. So it's all about the features, but there's some really cool signature wahs. And I use my Boss DD6 delay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool. And I have a chorus ensemble that I don't really use very much, to be honest with you. I don't really use any of this stuff that much. I just plug straight into the amp because I kind of fell in love with the Eddie Van Halen way of just like let the amp do the talking. I use the wall every now and again, not very much, but enough to where I want one. And I use the chorus a little bit, and I use the delay for my cleans sometimes. So, but when I'm playing distorted, I'm always running my Boss noise gate, right? But that's it. Like when I'm playing distorted, I'm pretty much just running it through the noise gate, nothing else. And I got a little reverb through the amp, right? I'm keeping it pretty basic.
I got a trim. I got the super trim. So
there's a couple of things that I want to go back to. I think it would be kind of cool to get another phaser. Like the EVH phaser is pretty fucking cool. I got to play through one of those, and it literally has the Ain't Talking About Love setting in there, right? It's got all of it just preset in there. It's like, that is the fucking Ain't Talking About Love setting. It sounds just like it. So some of that shit's pretty cool, but I know if I get it, and I won't use it that much. But anyway, I end up just selling off gear after a while. But I'm more conservative with shit. I don't have a whole lot of clutter, but
I got a whammy pedal, the one with like
Digitech, the Digitech whammy, or what?
The one that's like the bigger one that has like
the board,
the octave stuff in there too.
Yeah, and the only time I've ever played with one of those is when my buddy Jared from back home, he came out here he's the guy that bought the Music Man I wanted, but he bought that same pedal. I know what you're talking about, where it has all the extra shit. And he bought it just so we could jam and record. And he bought it while he was here, and he returned it before we left. And I think he just bought it when he got home though, because he liked it so much. I tried playing on it. I'm like, whoa, because I've always wanted to play on a whammy, and I never have. And it definitely takes some getting used to, because it was like, to me, it all felt super sensitive. Like, man, I need to like bond with this. And I feel like if I had a whammy though, I would abuse the fuck out of it. It's like a wah pedal, right? If you if you really figure out how to use a whammy, it's like, man, I would use it all the fucking time. I'd be Tom Morello up in this bitch. Dimebag Darrell used a whammy all the fucking time too, right?
Or donk.
Yeah, I mean,
and
they're cool.
I got one called. There's this company. It's real little. It's called Idiot Box, and they made one called Mad Dr. Stutter. I got that too, stutter pedal. It's pretty cool. The guy's eyes light up as it's stuttering.
We should have a Patreon exclusive music talk one time. We should have like a podcast where it's just Mac, because Mac is a musician too, and we should just talk nerdy music shit. That might be fun. Maybe we should put a poll out there on Patreon for anybody that gives a shit, and we could talk about that stuff. But anyway, that was a fun question, man. I think it's the longest we've ever answered and talked about a question, because it almost became its own podcast. But anyway, thank you guys. We're going to go wrap it up there. I'm not going to press our luck anymore. We've been talking for 50 minutes uninterrupted. So
And we are
I don't think-
recording this at Sunday night. It is 6:39 p.m. And this is usually whenever the early people are getting this on Patreon. Yeah, I'm going to try to get it up before the night's over.
but understand the circumstances. I know they will, man. I know the patrons will. Obviously, can't control the weather. But anyway, thank you guys as usual. If you guys are on YouTube by chance watching this, stop for a second, like the video. Do us that favor. And if you're not subscribed, that's without saying subscribe, but like the video. The more likes we have, the better the algorithm responds, and the more followers we can get, and the more we can grow. I mean, we're so close to 5,000. I want to hit that. That'd be awesome. I'd love to hit that at least before the end of the year. And as well, show us some love on podcast services. We're pretty much anywhere and everywhere you can imagine or you'd want. Like us over there, 5-star ratings, whatever it is.
I basically found out what's going on with the Google podcast stuff, and basically it was doing it on Spotify and all this different stuff, and I found out that basically it was like the fucking RS feed had to be updated because the place we used to use is like not really working anymore because we were using the Google feature and Google just let it go to shit, I guess. So I had to kind of get new ones, and we got to update all them. And on Spotify it should all be good now, but we got to do a couple more on iTunes, and fucking Google Podcast is giving me the most trouble. So I'm working on it, baby.
And hopefully by the time you're listening to this, it is taken care of. And I'm going to handle what I can after we're done talking here. While I'm on my PC here. But man, if you guys want to support any extra, we mentioned Patreon. We're over there. Check out the links below anywhere you're listening to us, and you can head over to Patreon. Where it's a given. You guys are going to get everything we try for 3 days early. Sometimes shit happens like this weekend where there's a storm, but everything goes up early for you guys. There's bonus content up there. So I know Riverman's been posting some pickup videos and shit for all you physical media freaks out there. I've put a video up. Zach's got a behind the scenes shit up there. We're doing more and more of that stuff. Mac and Zach are doing an exclusive Mac and Zach podcast. I think once a month is what he's once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, do you want to talk about it outside of this, or do you like my pitch for the ED? I'm going to call ED erectile dysfunction because I don't want to give it away.
If you want.
I think here's my idea, and I think if Zach's cool with it, we should do it. So we put out episode 1 of Ash vs. Evil Dead a couple weeks back for everybody, and we thought it was a great idea. It's like we'd love to do the whole series, but timing is a problem and fitting it in. We can't just put out Evil Dead every single week, we want to get through it. So I had the idea. I'm like, hey, these are 30 minutes. These are easy to kind of get caught up on, and we should make those Patreon exclusives. With the condition that maybe once we have an entire season done, then maybe we can start making them free for everybody. But there's no condition on when that is, because we only have so much time. I don't know if Zach, if we do these, Zach can put them up bi-weekly if he wants. He can put them up monthly if he wants. But I thought it's realistic enough, right? Because each season has 10 episodes. So, if we are able to get all those 10 episodes done and for patrons over the course of fucking 6 months or a year, depending on how often Zach wants to put them up, whenever it's done, we'll start trickling them out as content for you, for the free people as well. I thought that was cool. And then at the same time, we'll start season 2 and that'll keep going. And when that season's done, what do you think? Is that a good compromise?
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the way everybody can be happy. But I also think it's still a cool perk. Right. Because, we're talking about patrons having the exclusivity in real time of us putting them up. And depending on how Zach wants to do them, these are going to be exclusive to Patreon for 6 months to a whole year, I'd be guessing. So, but anyway, that's cool. And I think we're going to start doing that. And we'll just kind of go down the line, starting with episode 2 next, because you guys all have access to the pilot. So other than that, Teespring, buy a shirt.
We got merch.
Look sexy. We got merch. We got fucking bars, son. And I don't know. Be on the lookout. New Mac and Zach. Anything out coming out?
We got a fucking episode that just came out Monday. It's a fucking man's best friend, a fucking killer dog movie starring Lance Henriksen and Ali Sheedy. You probably remember the fucking VHS cover. It shows like a weird half robotic, half normal looking dog, but it was never a robot dog. It was always in our minds that it was a robot dog because half of the dog is like supposed to be invisible because he's got a chameleon. Like they spliced him with different DNA from other animals, and he's like half invisible on the cover. He's not robotic at all. It was our minds fucking with us,
man.
But yeah, you're supposed to be afraid of this fucking adorable fucking dog. So check that out. That's a fun episode.
Groundbreaking shit, man. Other than that, also lastly, right now this month we're just kind of cleaning out the closet with some back orders, some back requests. Obviously, we did career fucking opportunities today. So we're going to take care of a couple more of those for November, but start throwing in your suggestions for the holidays because we're going to attack the Christmas shit, man. And, the more and more we can think outside the box, because as every year goes by, we start dwindling down and losing more classics. We've already done like the go-to shit. So let us know what your suggestions are.
I say fuck it. If we want to do a movie again, we'll do it.
We'll just repeat it every year.
Why not?
Yeah. No, we still have plenty of options, so let us know. But that's all we got, guys. Thank you so much for all your feedback and all your participation, all the comments. We love it. And thank you so much for getting us to almost 5,000. Let's make that a reality. Let's cross it. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, puppets.
End of the week at the Revival House. Next month's theme, you gotta figure it out. Italian zombies or Pauly Shore, a slasher with a knife and the girl next door, and one second in, get it all queued up and ready, hit play in 3, 2, 1. Bye bye puppets, Zach Pete and a solo cut band. Couldn't miss Cameron's love and Josh and Scott failed and Riverman's babe. Bye bye puppets. Sounds good, like this country used to.